What up, nerds? And welcome to another celebratory episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode number 500, recorded on Saturday.
We're gonna get done, dudes!
August 31st, 2024. We are all getting done, dudes. Tonight we're talking about the same movie we attempted to discuss on the very first trial episode of this podcast. The movie is Scream 2 from 1997. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randeezy. What's up, man?
Yabos die tonight.
What's going on, baby? It's good to see you. 500 times seeing you, you fuck.
You
How you doing?
lucky son of a bitch. Seeing
I
me
know.
500
The Lord
times.
has smiled upon me, and so has Bob, and we all know.
Bob comes quicker than Halloween, am I right?
Oh my God.
That's right.
These,
Faster than that, goddammit.
these bumps are out of control.
I know.
Next up, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
What up? It's your boy Juice Stains, aka Boo Stains, aka Soju. What up, boys? Happy 500.
Happy 500. There was a moment where I thought you were going to list all 500. And I was like, would he have the dedication for that?
Dude,
we know.
oh, my lord.
The answer is no.
That is absolutely the answer.
My Lord. So, yeah, we wanted to celebrate episode 500 by going back to the beginning, talking about the same movie we used to kick this entire show off 10 years in the making. And we wanted to bring all the old school crew back as well. So we got the whole damn fam here at the table. Rickety, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you back.
Thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate it. For those of you who don't know the origin story of this podcast, I was there in person.
It's true.
It was me, Bob, my brother Jack, and Andy Gaddis. And Jack said, hey, let's do a horror podcast. That was it, because at that moment, Bob said, hell yeah. And then that was it. Bob made it happen. So
Really had to twist Bob's arm,
Excuse
right?
me. I'm gonna press against that narrative. I believe I had a hand in making that happen.
no, you didn't.
You didn't do it.
I researched the entire fucking thing.
No. After the idea.
I found the platform. I made the logo.
Oh, you
I
made the
created
website.
everything.
Yeah. Jack had the idea, then Bob, then Andy. You're three.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Next up,
Husband bulge.
I'm
next up,
laughing at you off camera.
we got our boy Bradley. Welcome back to the show, Brad.
Yo, what up, what up?
Hey.
The very first episode, I'm pretty sure I was told it was going to be a podcast on my way to watching Scream. Like, oh shit. So
By the way, we're
just gonna
recording
talk
you.
about it?
So.
Hope you're okay.
I'm doing my part.
Hope you don't mind. Last but not least, everybody's favorite serial killer, Drew B. What's up, Drew?
What's up, guys? That's the guy.
So that's live now. That's outside of the room, huh?
No,
Okay.
I
It's real.
I missed the pilot episode. I wasn't there for the Scream 2, but I came in on episode 2, which is the real episode 1, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We needed a sober, man.
However,
he came in through the back door, as always.
with a mask on, gloves,
No traces.
I like
unidentified.
that joke. I was the
Check
A-lister
Ross
they
for
brought
liking
in
that
to
joke.
get people to actually watch. So. Danny DeVito.
You guys look identical.
Trash man.
Yeah.
That's right.
Regular twins over here.
Throw me
Whoa.
in the trash.
Whoa.
You're ignorant.
Whoa.
I'm kidding.
Throw me
You can't say
in
that.
the trash.
It is.
Take my shit too.
In the trash.
So we're talking Scream 2, and I thought the original episode that we did 10 years ago was like a long lost episode. I went digging through the archives, and I did actually find it. I don't think we
Holy
ever released
You know
it.
Justin's got it somewhere.
Yeah, the chronicler.
The historian.
I wish. I do
was
not. These are
wondering.
files I don't have
Fuck you, it's
access to.
somewhere.
I have it.
If Justin,
Give me your old
if Justin
laptop.
had it, he would have leveraged it to get what he wanted out of our listeners. Long ago.
And then
Oh,
made
it has
revenue
happened.
off of it.
Yes.
So I found it, and I cut a few minutes out of it and sort of stitched it together. And I thought it'd be a kind of a good way to start the show. We don't have any housekeeping. We're recording this way in advance, by the way. This is coming out the week of Halloween, October 30th.
Woo! Happy Halloween, by the way.
Surprise.
Happy Halloween, motherfuckers. So in lieu of housekeeping and shit, we're going to roll clip here. It's about 3 minutes long, and just listen to sort of the origin of this show.
I'm excited.
Randy, you got that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
That's the number one record.
Meters are popping.
Do not use my last name. What y'all
We could have aliases if we want. Which it's a good show.
Nicknames are fine.
Yeah,
Bob,
yeah.
Gannis, Rickety.
Bunch of babies.
Jacariah, Officer Ariah. Yeah, I would prefer just Bob is fine. That works totally
You
fine.
can call me Galactus if you like.
Prime. Sir Prime.
Nibble says. Call me Borland.
Banana Man.
Borland works.
Borland
Okay, so we
Grover.
got Bob, Borland, Rickety, and
Just call
Jack.
me Jack. The Wizard. All powerful
Jack the
Wizard.
Ripper.
Talk about Scream 2.
Shit movie.
Yeah, it's bad.
Then she climbs the stage like it's the fucking aggro crag and roars like it's the scene in Jurassic Park where nobody's ever accused.
That guy ain't in the union no more.
Is that how you say it? Olifant? Olifant. That's how or OLI or I think so. I don't know. What the fuck? Olifants are elephants in Lord of the Rings. I know.
Is that his?
We had a couple band names in this.
We live in Florida.
Egg Crate Labyrinth.
That was a pointless fucking room.
Hey, that's legitimately like a good segment. Like,
Yeah, I'll do that.
And harmonic,
band names
and
called
I
harmonic,
think they're all mine
in
anyway.
harmonic style.
in harmonics.
Little Mermaid, that's really kind of fucked over the villain in a whole lot of ways. Yeah, she does steal souls though.
Dewey, yeah, he was crippled,
Boom.
and then in this film he allegedly dies.
Yeah, he like
Boom.
spits blood onto the glass and does the classic slide
Yeah.
down,
Boom, boom,
and then he kind of like just shows up. Thank you. That's some Twin Peaks though, dude. For those of you at home, Jack is now shaking his titties. I think that we should do it kind of in advance. Like at least one person has to do it in advance so that we are curating like good shit like that's worth commenting on at all.
You know, do our intros like starting the movie, and then like, all right, we'll let you know in a second, and then we'll come back and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
That would be
So
at least
we think,
that
you know.
way they get a baseline of how drunk we've gotten.
Right. We can't do it.
I know this won't happen, but I just still like the idea of getting Alex to watch these movies and just getting the anti-fan response.
It's like the idiot abroad of horror movie podcast reviews.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have seen when Alex is pushed into like that kind of situation, and you do not get the response that you want.
They were talking about the Matthew Broderick Godzilla in 1999, and they were like collectively shitting on it. And I totally get it, but the thing about it is that's the first Godzilla movie I ever saw. So to me, that's like Godzilla. That's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
And I totally understand that.
Yeah, that is so bad.
I totally get that.
Your parents failed you.
Wait, teen meanie.
It is exactly 10 minutes every time. I'm gonna go ahead and grab 2 ways that Rob has fucked up.
Frame it on the wall, baby.
Yeah. I'm gonna make me a sandwich and I'm gonna enjoy
There's a lot of bullshit on that.
That's all that we do.
That'll be pretty fun.
There you go.
Well,
Damn throwback.
prescient.
It was fun.
Dude,
Nice.
some things change, some things stay the same.
Exactly.
Who's shaking their titties tonight? Anybody?
Oh, we all are, baby.
I'll do it for him.
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do the Spartacus titty shaking moment where we all shake our titties as one.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God.
So
Oh, man.
Ross, you sort of mentioned at the top that the whole origin of this podcast was Jack's idea, your brother's idea, and you heard his voice on the recording there a little bit, and we just wanted to go ahead and raise a toast to Jack, who's no longer with us. Always in our thoughts. We do love and miss you, brother. To Jack.
To Jack.
Jack.
Forever and always, brother.
And that is going to be my one and only enjoyable drink for tonight because I've brought along an old friend called
our
Malort.
old buddy.
Oh, dear Lord.
Our old friend who regularly shat down our throats.
Good Lord.
Ugh.
I thought you were going to say Goldschlager. Then I would have been impressed.
No. If I'm going to drink any high fructose liqueur on this channel, it's going to be Red Stag. I have a reputation to protect.
That is
Oh,
true.
man.
And a whole bottle of it, by the way.
A whole bottle.
whole
Of
bottle.
course.
Of course.
All right, boys.
Oh, man.
Let's go ahead and get into the main event here. We are talking about Scream 2, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bomb, do you have a solo box or is this part of a set?
Well, I've got both, but I'm holding the
Of
solo
course.
box.
Yeah.
You doubt.
Got a slipcover,
What,
too.
you dumb slut?
For those
You
people
fallen
that don't
into
know,
my snare.
that's called a DVD.
This is a 4K, Ross.
No.
It's a
Blu-ray?
4K.
State your facts, please.
Yeah. Scream 2, you can get this anywhere, everywhere. It's not hard to find whatsoever. This movie came out in 1997, rated R, runtime of 2 hours. Directed by Wes Craven, was written by Kevin Williamson, stars Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette. Jada Pinkett Smith is in this one. Omar Epps for a little bit anyways. Heather Graham for a little bit. There's a bunch of really noticeable people. Roger Jackson returning for the voice of Ghostface. Liev Schreiber, ya boy. Some other folks. Plot synopsis brought to you by the back of the box is as follows. Away at college, Sydney Prescott thought she'd finally put the shocking murders that shattered her life behind her until a copycat killer begins acting out a real-life sequel. Now, as history eerily repeats itself, ambitious reporter Gail Weathers, Deputy Dewey, and other Scream survivors find themselves trapped in a terrifyingly clever plotline where no one is safe or beyond suspicion.
No one.
You gotta have a sequel!
Shaking them titties.
Them titties be shaking. My God, the yabos be flapping. The yabos be
I
flapping.
have to
Already.
make sure to
My
save
God.
this file 10 times in 10 different locations to make sure this makes it
Yeah,
out.
well, yeah, you got
Never
you
gets
got a
the
lot
right
of
call.
you got a lot of yanking it to do, I'm sure. So
This is a good one for behind the scenes on YouTube. Definitely check
Jerkin
it
and
out.
spurkin.
Gentlemen, we've all seen this movie before. I know we have. Would we recommend folks check out Scream 2? Drewby, why don't you kick us off, man?
No. No.
That is a
Straight
don't
to
know.
the point.
Maybe. I don't know.
maybe.
If you liked the first, I suppose.
well considered.
Yeah, I mean, there's more after that.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you don't want to skip it, I guess.
Let's go straight at 4.
Let's go ahead and just count that as a no. Brad, what about you?
Absolutely, I would. I feel like this is like pure Scream. You know, this is what you come to the show for. You know, like they nail it, even though it doesn't have Matthew Lillard in it, which it should. Yeah, I absolutely would. Yeah, everybody should go watch it.
No. Rickety, what about you, man?
I think if you're a horror fan, which you probably are watching this show, then yes, you should go watch it. Especially because you need to follow in with the ones that come afterwards, like the modern ones or whatever. In order to understand all that horse shit, you need to kind of see this one. So yes, I recommend you watch this one.
Right on.
Yeah.
Randeezy, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo that. Like, if you're watching the Scream franchise, like, it's probably because, I mean, at this day and age, I guess it's probably because you're a big horror fan. Like, you get the most out of it if you're a horror fan going into it. So, yeah, I definitely recommend it to horror fans. I think recommend it to genre fans. I think that the first one is seminal and kind of stands alone, as is the case most of the time. But yeah, if you enjoyed that, you're gonna fucking enjoy this for the most part.
Right on. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, same kind of idea, but I would only recommend just for the Scream franchise. I mean, this was definitely one that can't stand on its own, but also it doesn't have a whole lot of impact on the other ones. I feel like you could watch 1 and then you could watch 4 and probably be okay, because spoiler, all the main characters are still kind of there. So, well, Brandy, I get. But anyways, Yeah, it's a pure sequel, and they lay that out in the whole movie, and so its only use is to watch it as a sequel to Scream. I think. Other than that, not a strong recommend.
That's funny you said that because until this week, I had only seen 1 and 4.
He's a Scream
there you go.
Really?
That's also offensive.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I like to expand.
Was that intentional?
Those are the best ones.
Yeah, I mean, I
yeah.
guess because I was working at the theater when the 4th one came out, so
Yeah.
I watched.
Oh,
the theaters,
gotcha.
and
Okay.
Before that, I saw
That makes
only the
Probably
first.
the third and probably the second, right?
He did it solely for this cast.
You just
so-
know.
Oh, well,
I
thank
had a
you for your
version.
I did.
sacrifice.
Shows
I did.
ignorance.
I have seen it now, yes, but I think my least favorite subgenre of horror is the slasher.
Fuck you.
So they're not scary.
non-believable.
They're not scary.
That was
I don't
dope.
know. I don't.
Dope smile.
And everyone in them is stupid, which I know is how it's supposed to be. But
You're sitting in a room with Halloween.
I know.
and,
The Shrine.
You have to leave.
This is why Rob brought me in the beginning. All right?
Yeah.
Drew's not scared of no fucking slasher.
I'm not.
He's gonna kill them first.
He said
His
it. He's
own
playing
man.
close to home.
God damn it. He's his own man.
I'm out here.
They're
doing
doing
my
it
best
all
to
wrong.
Make them
These
excited.
fools. These fools.
It's like watching any scene with air ducts with Justin in the room. It's
Oh,
just like,
yeah.
this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I know
I
how
know better.
AC
How it's
works.
done.
This is bullshit.
Those pipes
Wow,
are
no,
just
when you
for
slash the
you.
carotid artery, there's a way bigger mess than this. Come on.
For some reason, I thought of air hockey and the pucks gliding across the table. God damn it.
Justin, did you
I know
see,
my air hockey.
Justin, did you see the Colombian soccer fans
Where?
trying to get into the stadium in Miami through the air ducts? I
No, did
immediately
they fall
thought of you.
through?
Those
They
crafty
failed,
fucks.
I'm sure, but they were trying to
Probably.
climb through air
Freeze
ducts to get
free,
in
right?
because they were locked out of the stadium.
Trying to
It's
get
like-
in, they walked past security. It wasn't that big.
Oh,
He
Jesus.
just kept going.
If you succeed,
It was
it's
a shit
good
show.
plan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
My brain went immediately to you.
Thank you for thinking of me.
You're welcome.
Well, there's no air ducts in this movie that I can recall. It sounds like a pretty mixed bag as far as recommendations are concerned, so make of that what you will. We are going to be spoiling this movie from 1997, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Got a mixed bag of bumps.
yeah.
Some old, some
That's a
new.
mislabeled bump. It's clear how much we've learned in 500 fucking episodes.
We'll fix that in post, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's
Who
definitely
knows?
going to be a lot of posts, as always, to correct all of our errors.
Bob, did you type up a plot synopsis for us?
Yes, I have the plot, and here we go.
Lay it on me.
Are you okay, Rickety? Here we go. Two whole years after the events of the original Scream movie, we see two Windsor College seniors attend an opening night screening of Stab, which is a movie based on the Woodsboro Massacre. Your boy Phil leaves the theater to go use the restroom, and he ends up being killed by someone dressed as Ghostface. The killer then sits next to Phil's girlfriend Maureen in the theater and stabs her multiple times. She runs up in front of the movie screen to signal for some help, but it's perceived by the crowd to be some sort of publicity stunt. She then falls over dead, and we get the title card drop. The news media, including local journalist Debbie Salt, swarm the college campus after the murders. Sydney Prescott attends Windsor College now. She lives with her roommate, Holly. She has a new boyfriend by the name of Derek, and his best friend is this weird dude named Mickey. We also see returning characters Randy Meeks, Dewey Riley, and Gail Weathers. Gail tries to force an interaction between Sydney and Cotton Weary, who's now exonerated for the rape and murder of Sydney's mother, Maureen Prescott. But it doesn't quite work out. That evening, Sid and Holly attend a party at a sorority house. At a nearby house, Ghostface attacks and kills a student named Cece. The partygoers wander over to look at the crime scene, and Ghostface attacks Sid. Derek is injured, but Ghostface ends up fleeing when the police arrive. After realizing Cece is diminutive for Casey, Gail theorizes that Ghostface is killing people with the same names as the victims from the original Woodsboro murders. Randy adds it's likely someone she knows, and he's following the rules of a movie sequel. Ghostface then calls Gail while she's with Randy and Dewey on campus in broad daylight. They try to find where he's calling from, and in the process, Randy's pulled into a van and murdered. That night, Dewey and Gail review some footage shot by Gail's cameraman to see if they can spot Ghostface in the background. Ghostface then attacks and stabs Dewey. Hell yeah. Then two officers attempt to drive Sid and Holly to a safe house, but Ghostface intercepts the car and kills the cops and Holly. Sid escapes, and she's drawn to the campus theater via some music. She finds Derek there tied to a cross. Ghostface then shows up, reveals himself as Mickey, and shoots Derek. Mickey says he was going to kill Sid, get arrested, and blame all the violence on movies. Debbie Salt then arrives, holding Gail at gunpoint. She's Mickey's accomplice, and Sid recognizes her as Nancy Loomis, the mother of Woodsboro Massacre killer Billy Loomis. Nancy shoots Mickey and confesses she was going to frame him for the murders all along. Mickey shoots his gun, injuring Gail, and then she falls off stage. Nancy then says she's taking revenge for Sid killing her boy, and that she was the one that killed Randy earlier. Sid then points out that her abandoning her son fueled his psychotic tendencies. They fight. Cotton appears, holding them at gunpoint. Nancy tries to manipulate Cotton by saying Sid's testimony got him arrested, but he doesn't fall for it. Sid agrees to an interview with Diane, Sawyer, and Cotton, and then he shoots Nancy. Sid, Cotton, and Gail are then surprise attacked by a still alive Mickey. Sid and Gail shoot him dead. Sid puts one more bullet in Nancy's head. The police arrive, and Dewey ends up being okay. Gail gets in the ambulance with him, and the press start to question Sid. She directs all the attention towards Cotton, and he's very happy to get that attention. Roll credits. There you
Whoa.
Still prefer the Babadook.
Did I just rewatch the movie?
I prefer the Babadook.
Short and sweet. Per
A
usual.
double screening of Scream 2.
I need you to go back to CC being diminutive of Casey. 'Cause there was some shit going on.
What is happening in this
I was
room?
only slightly molested.
There's
care.
a lot of sexual tension that needs to be
Yes.
relieved, I think.
Yes,
I mean, we all watched the movie.
Keep going.
It's been relieved.
We all
Welcome
watched the movie.
to
Yeah,
the
there was plenty
orgy.
of sexual tension.
We all.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
All right, this movie makes
Tough group to keep focused, Bob. Let's keep it moving.
I know. I feel like we gotta spend a decent chunk of time on the opening scene here. Love it, hate it. What do we think about the introduction of the stab movies, the movies within the movies of the Scream franchise, which are still continued on, even in part like 5 and 6. I don't know. Opening scenes are like a big deal when it comes to Scream movies. A lot of them are iconic. How does this one hit?
I think
Yeah,
it's solid, but definitely dated. I think it's going to represent a lot of what this movie is because you can't do shit like that anymore. Or like the movie theaters aren't like that anymore. And so it is a bit of
In
a
some
90s.
ways, they are.
Well, it's a bit of a 90s time capsule, but I did like it because, you know, even throughout the movie, this is not just the beginning, but having scenes from the first movie but played by other people, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I do like the inclusion of the Stab franchise.
Heather Graham on screen, yeah.
Yeah, Luke Wilson is in it, right?
Yeah.
He's
I love
Billy
As
Loomis.
Billy.
I love when he just goes like stupid or what. It's just like this movie is taking the piss out of the first movie. Gotta feel like for a lot of people, certainly me, this is one of the first movies I saw that had true meta contextual jokes about the other stuff that happened outside of the film or inside the previous films or whatever. It really nails it. Like the first movie already was metatextual in so many ways, but this one is like self-referential for the first time, and that is a thread that this fucking franchise never puts down.
Yeah. I like how when you're watching this movie, it's easy to forget, like, within the world that, like, the movie that they're watching, Stab, was based on actual people being murdered, and these kids are in the theater watching this opening of this brand new movie, and they're having a fucking party. They're celebrating it on this, like, really kind of almost sickening level. So there's like there's this sort of commentary baked into the lightness too, where it's like
There is
this desensitization that they're commenting on. I don't know, there's a lot happening in that opening scene. It's interesting as hell.
Drew, we all know you find pleasure in murder. So don't give me that bullshit.
No.
I've been here from day one. You find.
I've been here from day 2.
enjoyment. So you're late.
Specifically.
second day.
Rob, are you sure you didn't watch Scary Movie at all?
Yeah, the levels in Scary Movie
All the
are
comedy
very present.
I've actually never seen Scary Movie.
By the way, there's something about the direct parody of this scene in the Scary Movie franchise that sticks with me even more than this one. Like,
Me
I don't
too.
know. It's so fucking funny to me, and like it's like there's very little you could say about the movie trend that is positive, but the Scary Movie 1, Scary Movie 2, those like they so perfectly encapsulated what this movie was doing, and it's crazy that they took a movie that's already poking fun at itself and being funny and hilarious in many ways, and just like amp it up to like airplane levels, this slapstick shit. It really, really works for me. Regina Hall kills in this scene, and Jada Pinkett Smith is so fucking annoying, and I think that's the reason why it's so funny to watch Regina Hall do this.
Yeah, I agree. There were not just this opening scene. This definitely is the one that is the most memorable, but there were other scenes where I was getting mixed up with Scary Movie scenes.
Yeah.
And that kind of affected my watch of this, I think, because there were sometimes I was like, I kind of just wish I was watching the Scary Movie version of sometimes, because that opening is funnier. Well, I think the problem that I have to fucking watch Jada Pinkett Smith too in this opening, I'm just like, I don't want to look at this woman. I don't like her. And she is super annoying. And so I'm just like, I kind of wish I was watching Scary Movie at this point where I'm thinking about it a lot. So I think that definitely affects Scream too in some ways.
I don't like the Scary Movies in that way. They're like fine, but kind of base. I don't know. They're just not my bag, I guess.
I don't think there was any point where I thought that, does she get a knife or a wiener in her ear?
Wiener.
Yeah, it is.
No, that's Damon Wayans. Or Damon.
Yeah.
One of the Wayans.
Wiener or knife.
Always wiener.
Speaking of I never understood the decision in Scream 2. Like, if you hear weird shit going on in the stall next to you in the men's room, you're never putting your ear to that stall. You're not going to do that. Like, you're going to get the fuck out of there.
I certainly am not doing that now.
European style.
Your glory hole. The ultimate red.
Put your ear to the glory hole. I got to hear what's going on over there.
That was... God, you've forgotten. Okay.
That is
The thing that was being said...
Your mind
The thing that was being said in the adjacent stall was like, "Oh no, mommy, I didn't do that. Oh no." It was like really fucking weird. Yeah, like the subtitles were on for me, and I was like,
I had the subtitles on too, and I think it's like some kid. I think they're trying to go for like a Friday the 13th thing, which makes sense. When you find out who the killer is. It's like, "Mommy, I'll tell you why I did it. I'll tell you why I did it," or whatever. And it's like weird if you don't immediately think of Friday the 13th. If you think of anything else, you're like, what the fuck is happening?
I didn't think about it even until you just said that. I didn't think about it.
I've always been a creeper.
It's creepy.
That's what I thought about
it. It is weird. Yeah. So that's in there. That dude gets stabbed through the partition, through the skull with the sharpest blade that's ever been manufactured.
It was like a sleepaway camp moment. It's like that shower kill in sleepaway camp where
name it.
Jesus
Classic, and you'll respect it in this house.
Ross just laid an
Too many
egg.
bookshelves in this room for me to accept that.
You're only getting half the animation.
I actually like
if you're watching
Sleepaway
this.
Camp. That was a good one.
It's a great
That was a good slasher.
God.
Attaboy, Drew.
Okay.
Not like this hot garbage.
Exactly.
Piece of shit.
That's a middle finger
Bob,
right there.
man.
That's a big white middle finger right there. I have big hands. There you go.
Jesus.
Bob, you are on record based on the clip that you provided us
Yeah.
saying that this was not good.
Which
so
is-
10 years ago, you thought that this was hot garbage.
He can change.
I thought it was joke, but
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that too, because I don't remember ever not really liking this movie. It's so in comparison to the original, like they all
You were too
pale, but I don't know. I do like this, and there's nostalgia baked in for sure. Like it's flawed. It definitely is a flawed movie.
Sorry.
But there's also like I think I give it a little bit of grace knowing that it came out exactly 1 year after the first movie. And I think they had like maybe 6 months to get it done, and the script leaked, so they had to rewrite a large portion of it.
no shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, some of it on the day. So like I feel like I see what they're trying to do, but it feels hurried and maybe a little mixed up and not as tight as it could have and should have been.
Which they reference
I wonder
in
who
Scream
the
3.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder who the
Surprise!
original
The movie
killer was supposed to be.
originally shit, so they redid it.
I saw a couple different things saying there was going to be 3 killers, and like the 2 that we already have here with Loomis, Mickey, and then also Holly, the roommate, was going to be the roommate.
Okay, she was underbaked. That kind of makes
Yeah.
sense. Like she was very much fodder. Although that said, like there were a lot of like characters or at least big name actors that showed up that you would expect to get more screen time. Like Joshua Jackson is in one scene. Like this is like
I forgot
mid Dawson
until you just
era.
said that he was there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, and
Weird.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is ultimately
Marketing.
just fodder in the end.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But
you
wait,
know.
isn't he also? So Sarah Michelle Gellar is also in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Isn't he also in I Know What You Did Last Summer too?
Is he?
I
don't
think he
remember him.
is.
I haven't
Not
seen
sure.
those recently enough.
Maybe he's in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Maybe. I'm gonna
Ross
look
is on just
I know
to
who you
neg
fucked
the
last
whole
summer.
podcast.
Oh my god.
Who the fuck?
Oh,
cares?
man.
I like how they had Buffy the motherfucking Vampire Slayer watching Nosferatu totally alone in
Yeah.
the sorority house.
I did
That's
pick up
solid,
on that.
yeah.
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 There's
There's
a good,
like, yeah, this movie.
there's
Sorry,
a
go ahead,
good
Drew.
a little Easter egg, I guess, in that scene, which I noticed. The outside of the living room where she's watching the movie, there's a sign on the wall that says "No eating in the living room." And as the camera's panning over, you start out only seeing no living, which I thought was pretty
Oh,
cool.
I did not
Oh,
catch that.
okay. All right. That's
Nice
like a
little-
Arrested Development
true.
sort of.
Make me feel stupid.
Eagle-eyed Drew.
I thought you were going to say, and then we pan over to Sarah Michelle Gellar, and she's just like honking down a hoagie, like so quick.
I thought that's where I was going too.
He's not. I broke Ross. I'm sorry.
He's glitching out.
Yeah. Ross has been broken.
Oh, shit.
You guys,
Rip off your
I'm being
shirt, show
assaulted.
grief your fucking tits.
Your fucking tits.
The Scream franchise, I think we talked about this with 6, is like it does its best work when it has time to marinate the script for a while. As the horror genre sort of like alters, changes, as it gets more to say. I actually thought this movie had more to say about sequels than it ultimately did. And I think that is, again, like a product of what you just described, Rob, is like the truncated timeline for production. And then I guess a leak. I didn't know anything about that. So yeah, they really rushed this out. Fortunately, it was still like very fertile ground because they hadn't done 6 movies yet or 5 movies beforehand.
Yeah.
And 6 suffered from being like the 6th in the franchise and being rushed. And so that's why we were generally pretty negative towards that one comparatively.
Yeah, there's some. I don't know that they really comment too successfully on like sequels necessarily, but they do the meta thing, and like the movie opens up with commenting on like the sort of severe lack of African American characters, and like that totally like is the first Scream movie.
Yeah.
But there's a handful of African American characters in this, so like they kind of call themselves out in that way, which is like an interesting meta sort of thing they play with. The no nudity
hot in
continues. They talk about that right at the beginning.
I'm sorry, no nudity does not continue where you're sitting.
Right, there is some
nudity
nudity
has begun.
in this room. I
That's
think
been
they.
the biggest disappointment of the Scream franchise for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're always commenting on nudity, but never giving any.
Well,
I
that is
know.
a subversion of the
What a tease.
series.
What do you call them, Max? Yabos?
Yeah, but
Severe lack of
Yabos around here.
That ain't what I
So
call
he
them.
would. He was not, I guess, in I Know What You Did Last Summer. He was in a movie from 1998 called Urban Legend, but that was after.
Urban Legend. And actually, another character from that movie is in this as well. She's one of the
the curly-haired sorority
one of-
girl.
Yeah, the sorority girl with the curly hair, the
Yeah.
one that's not Lindsay Bluth.
Yeah,
But that
yeah.
movie, but that movie came out after Scream 2, so that was 1998.
Right.
They could have been filmed at the same time, but yeah, it's so weird for them to have him in this movie for just one scene.
They
That's
just
so
wanted
strange.
anyone who was a teen star to be in this movie. There
I
were
guess
so many.
so,
I
yeah.
was shocked when
I
I
They
bet
got
he was
the
in
budget.
the trailer.
They're like, look, we got the budget. We can fill this with day players, or we can get Joshua Jackson so that the teen Tiger Beat magazine fans can come in and enjoy.
Oh,
I
Randy.
don't know.
His character might have been written out of some scenes, maybe if they were
Maybe.
rewriting it on set. Like,
He was
I
the
feel like
third
that had to
killer.
have happened, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like maybe it's almost if I'm giving way too much credit, maybe it's like an act of red herringness where it's like, oh, this is a known actor, maybe he's the killer, just to like muddy the waters as we go through the whodunit of it all.
I definitely think they were kind of
That's the not version of why that would be
the misdirection, really. Like,
yeah,
I don't think anybody really saw the ending to this movie coming.
No.
Yeah.
How could you?
I mean, like Debbie Salt, the character of Debbie Salt, like she's just nothing, and then all of a sudden she's the killer. Like it's Mickey is kind of.
They spend a lot of time with her. They spend more time with her before the reveal. I mean, they spend more time with her before the reveal than they spend with Joshua Jackson, certainly. Timothy
Olyphant,
fucking Buffy, or like Timothy Olyphant. Yeah, we don't spend that much time.
For like 40 minutes. I was like, what happened to
He's
Timothy
like always
Olyphant?
kind of around though, or at least mentioned. So like, I feel like he was kind of one of the more suspected people, or would have been if I hadn't seen this 3 times before this. But yeah,
does he have a really hateable face, or is that just me?
Timothy Olyphant?
He did.
Yeah.
He grew into it. Like, he looked ugly here, but in his later years, he became
Yeah, he
more
looks
attractive.
better as a more distinguished older man.
Yeah. Agreed.
I don't like him.
Like a Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did play. He was in Deadwood or whatever,
He was in
right?
Deadwood and
He's
Justified.
Well, he was in Deadwood. That's right.
Yeah.
He only saw one season. He was in that.
And The Office.
He's in The Office randomly.
In the animated Rango movie, I believe he was Clint Eastwood. He played Clint
What
Eastwood.
was that fucking?
He was in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, he was like the same.
He was in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
How do we feel about the kills in this movie? Did they actually up the gore? That's one of the things about like the sequel that they mentioned. You don't think so?
I think they did Randy pretty dirty, to be honest.
You didn't like the Randy kill?
Well, just that he dies is kind of.
It is lame that he dies. I agree because in part 3, the way that they have to like fucking shoehorn him in sucks dick.
Yeah.
I disagree on both of those things. First of all, I think that like, because there's plot armor on too many fucking people in this franchise as it is. Like Randy or somebody's got to go. So I'm fine with Randy going.
I do think
sure.
His kill sequence holds a lot of weight because you like the character, you hate to see him go. So like it works.
I agree with that.
You got to kill somebody.
Well, and I also love the cat and mouse of people, them chasing down people with cell phones on the quad or whatever. I really like that. I think that's like, it's them trying to solve the problem in a rational way and it not fucking mattering because this is still a slasher movie in the end. I kind of love that.
To answer the question, I think this movie surprisingly didn't, as much as it is a commentary on sequels, it didn't make everything bigger, like is stereotypical of sequels, except maybe the opening sequence. The opening sequence was much bigger, but like otherwise it's kind of copy paste of the first movie, which is how they do for the first like 5 movies. Anyway,
but I would say the intro is bigger but less scary, like less of a horror scene. Like it's more of just like bigger, bigger. I
agree.
But I agree. Like as far as like the actual kills, the amount of blood on screen and things like that, I don't think it's that much. We do see what's his dick get shot directly in the bare chest, and that was pretty impressive. But I mean.
Yeah, the guns.
I don't remember.
It's still a gun. That's the thing.
I kind of forgot about the guns. That the whole ending of this is all just blasting.
Jerry O'Connell, right?
There was a surprising amount of
Jerry O'Connell,
gun firing in all of these movies that I was blown away.
Was there in the first one?
Yeah, the whole ending of the first one, they're trying to get the gun.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gail
There's not a lot,
forgets
but
how to turn off the
still
safety
surprising.
or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
You expect
fair
only
enough.
stabbing.
So there was a gun, but I don't think there's much death from a gun. It's all stabbing.
Yeah, this one, like both
the
killers
final
go
shot.
out via gun, right?
Yeah.
Well, well, I mean, those last kill, what's his dick? Skeet gets shot in the end with the secondary kill, not with the actual
Mickey.
Okay,
he gets
kill. No, in both.
No, he was
Mickey
talking
and
about it in the first movie.
Okay,
in the first one too, though.
Yeah.
So I guess gunplay has been in this franchise for a long time, but like if for some reason in 6 it really stuck out for me, and this one it stuck out for me in a way that it hadn't before because we've had that conversation.
At this point, 6 is the only one I haven't seen yet.
You're fine.
I'm not trying to avoid spoilers or anything.
He somehow skipped 2 and 3. I don't think he's going to give that much of a shit about rushing to 6.
No.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
We're going to get arrested.
As far as the gore of any kills go, I don't remember being shocked by anything until the 4th movie, maybe. And I think that's because of the time it was released. There were higher expectations.
And that's part of
for
like
that
the
kind
commentary of it, right?
Yeah.
I'm one of those
they're all just
desensitized
stabs.
people.
The chintzy, but also like there's also something very like I don't know, personal about being stabbed, but this movie seemed to lack things like the garage kill. Like
creativity,
give me a creative kill. Like that's what's to me that's what makes a slasher sequel of all things valuable is a satisfying fucking creative way of killing things that just makes me laugh or like gives me a little bit. But for some reason, the first movie does that, but not the second one so much.
I think it had some good set pieces, some good like moments where it builds tension. The kills maybe aren't super creative.
Maybe
agree with you there.
One of the detectives protecting her, he got like impaled by the steel rod.
Yeah, the pole. That's true on the car.
Vehicular homicide, I guess. Yeah, that's interesting.
The whole scene, I really love that sequence where they have to crawl over the top of a passed out ghost face.
Oh yeah,
that was a cool sequence. Yeah,
I thought maybe it was dragged out unrealistically, but it was still pretty.
Yeah.
And it was it had tension.
Well, them running away and saying Sydney being like, I got to go back and see who it was. It's like you were right in front. Just like as you're getting out, just rip that fucking mask off with you. Use the same.
There's so many times throughout this entire franchise where I'm like, why didn't they take that mask off? Like, what the fuck?
I know that's like that cat and mouse of it all is like it's just ingrained in the thing that they are satirizing. So it kind of has to be that way. I don't know.
I
give
came
it
to
some
accept that,
leverage there.
I think too, as a sequel, and now that we have 6 of these movies, just looking at this one doesn't really do anything special. There's nothing that makes me think like that's the second movie, or that's what's cool about the second movie, or that's why I would watch the second movie. I really just, unless I'm just going through them in order, there's really nothing to pull me to this one. It's fine. Like, I think it's accomplished in what it needs to do, and it's not as bad as some of the sequels come off, but it doesn't really do anything distinct.
Where would you rank it in like the 6? I'm kind of curious.
Probably toward the bottom half, because me and you did a rundown before 6 came out, and I still think I would put 1. So we have 6. So I still think I would put 1, 4, and 5 toward the top, and then 2, 3, and 6 are in the bottom half. So bottom half.
Looking forward to 6.
Yeah.
It's
worse than 3?
I
don't know.
You could stop at 5.
I think 3 is still the worst.
I think 3 is the worst.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
3 is the worst because it's like coming fresh off the heels 3 years running. So as many diminished returns on the idea as this movie had, they rushed to get another even more diminished return on 3.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know, it really does seem like time is the key factor to letting these movies, be good.
Like I was telling these guys
Go
before, like I didn't do any research, but it felt like 3 went through some kind of production hell. Like
I'm sure
Dude,
they
oh
like
my
both.
God, 3.
This one clearly did by Bob's accounting,
Right,
and
he was
3
saying
I'm
that
sure.
too,
Yeah.
3
Well, in the
probably.
same way, with 6 coming out like so fast after 5, it's like apparent when they rush them out, surprise,
They're not
they're
great.
garbage.
Yeah.
What? When you release a movie 1 year after, when the fucking script's not even done,
Yeah.
when the one before is, it's like, why do they keep doing that?
That kind of blew me
taste like ass.
That kind of blew me away because before this week, I didn't even know there was a 6th movie. Like 5 and 6 in my mind.
It's like one of the
same
biggest
movie.
movies from last
They
year.
were so close, but they were like, if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, technically 5 was the one I didn't know existed because I knew there was one that took place in New York, and I thought that was the 5th one.
I kind of like to think that the reason that Ghostface is so clumsy in this movie is because they had so little time to figure it out. There's a scene where he's running around in a sorority room or a house, and he busts ass over a whole ass lazy boy. It's just sitting there right in the middle of the road, and he just and that might be my favorite scene. That might be my favorite scene because it's like, did you not see it there.
You know,
and there's a phone with a cord attached to it that just goes cluttering off to the side.
it can't be easy to see out of that mask, especially if you're like the older lady chasing folks around.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
Yeah,
she's
that's-
already, you know.
I don't know. I guess you don't. Let's not make excuses for it. This is the movie that solidified
Yeah. I love a
Ghostface
clumsy
as a
Ghostface.
cartoon
Hey.
character. He is a Looney Tunes character, both in it mask and out of mask every time. He's all like, once the big reveal happens, they're all doing Stu Macher. Always, they're always doing Matthew Lillard to the best of their ability. Even Laurie Metcalf, who is a fucking incredible actress, and like I've seen her do some shit that like made me well up with tears.
Yeah.
And here she is like chewing the goddamn scenery, just being like almost mustache twirly, but no mustache. Like it's fucking. Kind of a lot.
I say with Mickey too. Yeah, that's the thing is like after the success of the first one, they're trying to kind of like mimic it, but it's in that cheap kind of way where it's like, oh, we know what made the first one successful. Or we know why the fans like the first one. Let's try to just give them some more of that. And it's just
more of that with one or two pegs rearranged.
Yeah.
So the boyfriend's not the killer this time.
Couple
He's a good
pegs.
guy. He
It's some
sings
random
Top Gun
guy that we
songs.
don't know.
Yeah, it's Jerry O'Connell singing Top Gun songs. That's the worst scene in this movie to me.
I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That shit's so
Oh, the
weird.
boyfriend's so bad in this too. Like, I don't know. Nobody like in the first movie, they at least feel. I mean, I don't know. It's the first movie, so you're experiencing it for the first time. It's just like the boyfriend in this. Everybody feels so plain. Nobody feels special in any kind of way.
I think they do a good job with the returning characters and like sort of giving them a bit of an arc.
Even Dewey, I don't know, man. I wasn't big on Dewey this movie.
I liked hell yeah. I like what they did with pretty much all of them. Dewey coming back, he's like no longer like baby face. Like he's got some experience. He's a little jaded. He's upset with Gail and how she reflected him in his book with the whole like oozing conversation they have. Gail starts off just as like sort of vicious and unapologetic as always, but towards the end she actually starts to regret her decisions and like gives the like opportunity to interview folks at the end of the movie to go take care of Dewey because he's like dying, you know, or whatever. And like Sid
it's a lesson she'll only need to learn 4 more times.
Right.
Oh,
Sid
God.
is more of a badass, I think. Like she's a little more hardened, a little more battle tested. She doesn't trust her boyfriend.
Well, she's traumatized.
Traumatized. Yeah. Randy's kind of the same, I guess, but he's only in like half the
That's
movie.
the one that blows me away because like he still loves Sydney. Sydney left him to fucking get killed by the killer in the last movie. Understandably, justifiably, I think, considering the circumstances.
Let his ass die.
But Sheila's like, fuck both of you, and slams the door on the face of her and one of the goddamn killers that
That's
she knows.
true.
Like, so like he doesn't have.
Hell yeah.
She really she didn't do him dirty, but like I could like they didn't explore that at all, and I don't really blame them for not exploring that. I do think that Gail and Dewey are fucking great. They're back and forth. Him naming the pages, annotating the moments where she talked dirty about him is so likable to me. I really like that a lot.
I have some oozing
I think as much
do.
as I didn't like 2, it might be Dewey's best movie, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of
Wait till you
useless.
see 5.
Yeah.
I saw 5.
Oh, you saw
5.
Okay,
6
okay,
I haven't seen.
All right.
Well,
I guess though too, going back to the scary movie aspect, the way he's got to move. I think he switches hands sometimes. Doesn't he switch which hand he can't move? I'm pretty sure he does. I think
In Scream
he
4,
does.
he's not even limping anymore.
Exactly.
And then in 5,
Yeah.
Nerve damage
but
can
it's
repair
slight,
over
like,
time. I'm gonna put that out there.
yeah, but in 5, it's like he's limping again, but it's not as bad as
got
it was
better,
before.
but
Like,
not
Well, that's
Yeah.
nerve damage can improve over time.
and it can come back apparently, just a little.
It can.
You know what? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of like shtick was got a little tired for me. And I'm pretty sure he switched hands halfway through.
The limp showed how bad he was as an actor. I think his limp was comical. I think. Yeah, I didn't like.
I should have asked Beck about that.
Yeah.
Beck is the person that knows like gaits and how people. Yeah, anyway, I should have asked, but I don't know. It didn't bother me because I don't know what to look for in a fake limp. Like it has to be pretty fake for me to notice. And I guess it wasn't fake enough for me.
I know what to look for personally.
I know you do, Bob. You're big on weird ambulature.
Limp analyzer.
What did you think about Dewey's limp?
That's what
He knows limp.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Drew?
I don't know, man.
I was asking how you were rating Dewey's limp.
Oh yeah, perfect limp, no notes.
I can't tell if he's being serious or not.
Got real conflict over here. All right.
I've been off too many episodes. I don't know.
You don't know what I'm thinking. I like Cotton in this movie too. Like as far as introducing new characters, they give him a lot more depth with like him being falsely accused of these really horrible things, but he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder and he's trying to leverage his situation for fame and fortune. And like I like his interaction with Sid and everything. I think that's a nice dimension that they add to this movie that they really build on successfully from the original.
Not my favorite thing, but I do like that they gave him because in the first one he's just a picture on a screen getting a perp walk. He's basically all he is.
I was kind of surprised watching the first one, which I had seen before, but I didn't really remember that well. That Liev Schreiber was in it, and I don't know if he was a big actor in 1996, but me watching it now, I'm like, why is Liev Schreiber just in this one like TV segment and not in the rest of the movie?
I was gonna say, thank God they hired a guy that like ultimately became a name, and maybe that's part of why they wrote him in more. But maybe this is part of what got him notoriety. I don't know. Like X-Men wasn't too long after this, like right?
Well, that was probably a decade later. He was only in Wolverine Origins. It was like the fourth X-Men movie.
For the Wolverine.
Well, wasn't he? I don't know.
Damn.
I can't remember.
He played the X-Men films, of course.
I thought he was in the X-Men 2000 or whatever.
He didn't show
No,
he was
X-Men Origins Wolverine. God damn it.
The good one.
The best of them.
I'm not quite good at touching on things, but Liev Schreiber's character.
Not about you. Not about you.
There was something that didn't work for me, and I'm not sure what it was, but like to play off what Rob was saying.
I think it was played. I think they were trying to turn him into basically Gale Light a little bit.
Andy, this is you and me. Okay.
Yeah. Drew, let's have a conversation all our own. Welcome to my podcast.
Cotton, for me, from the beginning, it was obvious that he wasn't going to be the killer, and I think that's what really ruined it for me. Like they kept trying to make him look like a dick, but I'm like, he's not going to be the killer.
I think that that was a nice subversion. I don't know, like it didn't go anywhere, but I like the idea that you didn't really know who the killer was, and then they just surprise you with something that's totally out of left field. So
I don't disagree. Like, I think that the thing about the red herrings in this one is, in the first one, the red herrings are suspicious all on their own. Like, Skeet Ulrich obviously isn't a red herring, but like, there's a million people that you're like, could be this person. This person's acting strange, and you actually start to be suspicious of people naturally. In this movie, it's just it's a whodunit, and you're like, who's it gonna be?
It's a manufactured.
Who's it gonna be? And you come. Yeah, it's already instilled in you that you're looking at everybody suspiciously from the beginning. So it doesn't matter if they're suspicious naturally.
Yeah, you can't really do anything about it when you're writing sequels. It only works in the first one.
Yeah, that's very true.
You kind of have to suspend your disbelief.
Ultimately, like every movie has fucking done this in the franchise.
Yeah. That's why I think by the time we watched 5, I was like, I kind of just stopped trying to guess and just experience like, because that's not necessarily what's fun about Scream to me. I mean, kind of, you're gonna get the reveal, so
you just ride along with it. I think.
Right.
Yeah,
you want to see
that's the way I am with like. Sorry, go ahead, Drew.
I was just reference what you said earlier about the actress chewing the lines in Scream 2. Like, that's what you want to see in all the Scream movies, even though you might be able to predict who the killer is. You want to see them chew the lines, like
reveal.
You said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The big reveal. Laurie Metcalf is a fucking genius. I love her, and like, this is a fun turn for her, but it is not like it's not going on the reel necessarily. I don't think, unless it's like for variety. I don't know. I like the whodunit of Scream as a franchise generally, but it's best served when they actually have it's not just surprising because it's out of left field. It's surprising because you've been looking at so many different people that all look naturally suspicious in their own way. And really the only one I can think of that does that is Scream 1. Scream 4, maybe. It's been long enough that I don't remember how I felt about.
Well, there was a long enough period between 3 and 4, so
right.
I think,
yeah, exactly. And it could at this point, I feel like it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world if they made fucking Sydney the killer or some shit, like something horrible like that, which would be terrible.
Right? At this point, it's too late. It had to be when she was younger. It would be terrible.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Like, I just feel like
in 6 when Dewey comes back and as the killer, I mean, that was fucking crazy.
That was
As a literal ghost killer.
Whoa.
He's killing somebody, and it's just like
Every time the killer shows up, that song plays, but they make you think,
like, who's it gonna be?
Who is it?
I'm not too schooled on the slasher genre overall. Was this Scream, or the first Scream, would that be the first to be like a whodunit slasher?
No.
I don't think it was the first. No. It's not. It wasn't like the big ones weren't like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween.
Well, Friday the 13th,
those are all like, you
kind
know
of.
who the killer is. Actually,
Well,
you're right. Friday the 13th
at
the
the
first
end.
one.
Friday the
Yeah,
13th
the
is not
first
really.
one.
Kind of the second one.
It's not a whodunit, but they switch it up on you for sure.
They do.
Yeah.
They switch it up on you. That is an outlier. But amongst the like rest of the 20,000 movie series, it's Freddy, it's Jason, it's Michael, it's Chucky.
Yeah.
You know who these killers are. You know where they come
you
from.
don't know who's doing it. Right?
Yeah, you
That's
know,
true.
yeah,
Sleepaway
that's
Camp.
a whodunit.
Supernatural killers.
Even
though,
in
so.
Black Christmas, you never know who's done it. you know?
Black Christmas, yeah.
You never
Sleepaway
find
Camp.
out.
It's also
Psycho. I mean,
whodunit.
Psycho. You find out at the end, and it's like it made people shit their pants in the 50s. So.
A man dressed as a
in
woman?
the
What?
60s? Yeah. People are just shitting their pants, puking in their grandma's mouths in the theater. Shit's
Jesus.
going crazy.
You know, scariest
But you're
movie
not
of all
like
time.
in Psycho. You're not digging through the cast to
No
see
wet
which
wipes.
one of these people you've been following
Dry
is the
ass.
killer. It's just you don't know who it is in a way.
Streets.
You do not know.
Laundry is pre-treated.
Let's go ahead and rate this thing out
we
of
go.
5.
Okay.
Let's land this plane. Drew, you're closest to me, so I'm going to let you kick us off. How do you feel out of 5? Scream 2.
Wow. Oh God. This is a 1.5.
1.5.
Oh,
Being I don't
this is a
like
man of-
slashers, and this is a weak Scream movie. Scream is a slasher franchise.
There you go.
You know, it's
this is a man of principle, and those principles all.
I mean, that
involve-
logic
this
holds
entire-
up.
Yeah, I mean, amongst the Scream movies, it's bad. So I'm actually giving it a little boost to rate it amongst other horror movies. Like if I were
Haven't seen the
rating
most
it out of a
recent one, so let's
Scream
just-
scale,
let's
it'd be
just
like a
keep it
0.
Same
You know, but
Okay.
I am going to drop a deuce on everybody.
it's less than a deuce. All right,
Ooh.
this is
It's like you think about the deuce, but then you pull it back.
yeah. It was just gas.
Turtling over there.
So
But yeah,
we got a
I'm going to take my shot. I'm alert to that.
Oh, Lord.
Randy.
appropriate. That's appropriate.
Oh.
God. Fucking poison.
So good, right?
Better than you remember, huh?
How you like that wormwood?
Randy just shit his pants.
It tastes like worms. It tastes like RFK's brain.
Licking it.
So we got a 1.5 from your boy Drew. Bradley, how do you feel about Scream Deuce?
I mean, so I don't think I'm as harsh on this movie as Drew is because
Shocker.
I did not just recently watch it for the first time. As a 90s kid, I think that Scream, the whole franchise was like, that was slashers in the 90s. Like that was the nostalgia. So I just think I'm too fond of this movie. I'd have to give it like a 3.5 maybe. It's not perfect. But it's fun. It's fun to watch. Like it's a fun watch, and like you can hang out with your friends, drink a beer, and guess what Ghostface is going to trip over next. You know, that's the fun shit.
As a fellow 90s kid, I approve.
Preach. Rick Ross, how you feel out of 5?
Oh Christ!
Get in
How
that
your
mic.
name Ross? How your name Ross?
How your name, Ralph?
Wait a minute.
You know, this is dog shit. So I'm gonna give it like a 2.5 because it is worth watching for the rest of the series, but in and of itself, to me, doesn't hold much value. So typical B horror, tropes, titties and blood, and continuing the storyline and all that shit. But at the same time, if you like the rest of it, and if you like what's coming out and you want to watch it, definitely watch 2. Yes, absolutely recommend. If you saw 1 and you're like, this is bullshit, fucking fade out, bro. I appreciate it. But at the same time, enjoy with a smile on your face. That's what I do.
Hell yeah. 2.5.
It was fun.
Randeezy. Randeezy, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that generally. Like, I think that there's something about this movie franchise in general. Like, I think about our review of Scream 6 and how I desperately wanted the new Scream sequel to just really lean into like being as big and ridiculous as possible as a sequel 6 movies in might be. And it really wasn't that. But what was that was Stab 6, which was featured in Scream 5, is like an aside joke with like chrome face, ghost face with the fucking flamethrower and shit. Like, I want that sequel, and like if you're going to comment on horror sequels, I kind of want that. And that said, though, like I really love what we got. I had such a fun time. I have such a fun time with all of these movies, even the ones I don't like that much, even the ones I don't want to go back to as much. And it's like,
sorry,
Go
what
ahead.
I wanted was the Alien Romulus version of Scream. That's what I wanted.
where it's just like strips out the thinky
Just
stuff and just
take
amps
the
up everything
old-
else.
Yeah, take the old, used, successful shit and give it to me over again in a modern light. That's what I want.
What do you think about that,
Bob,
Rob?
see,
Give
see,
me-
Bob.
Give me a
I
double
think that
fingers.
movie sucks.
That's a
dick.
I don't care.
I don't think you know how contentious
give
that
me
statement
the
is.
Romulus style version of Scream.
I actually listened to that episode.
Randy, 5. How do you feel?
Spring break forever.
I feel good about this movie. The thing is, like, I also have a lot of nostalgic favor towards this, and I'm trying to be quick. I like this movie. I think this movie suffers for a lot of reasons that are production based and not necessarily story based or any of that. Or not even. It really has to do with like the timeline of these movies coming out. And I think that if it had marinated a little longer, if Wes had given it a little more time to really think about like what makes a sequel and how to dissect that, rather than just like intimating towards it and then just like sort of like dumbing it down a shade, dumb it down a lot, and make it like ridiculous, I think that could have worked. But I don't hate that we got like Sydney being a badass. I don't hate that we got Courtney Cox being a stone cold bitch again. And, like, she's the best when she does that stuff. It's so fun to watch, and I like the whodunit, even though it's not as amped as it was before. I just really like this movie, and I as much as it is flawed, as much as I could see it being a better movie, I still got to give it a 3.25, let's say.
Wow, a quarter star.
Yeah, I know. I made that decision as I spoke. Could you tell?
Yes.
3.25.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Juice, out of 5. How do you feel?
Yeah, on this one, as I said, not much brings me to this one. It's been a while since I'd seen it, but at the same time, I'm kind of grading on a little bit of a Scream curve because, like, I can imagine all the ones in my mind and like how they kind of rank and where I rank them out of 5 stars. So I think that might give it a slight bump up, but generally, I think this is like mostly just rinse and repeat. And obviously there were some production issues, but with that, I mean, it's still fine. It's not.
Sorry.
It's not bad.
I promise that wasn't a bump.
It's not.
Can it be?
Okay. It's not bad. It's just not particularly interesting. It's not special to me. So I think the opening is solid. And I think that they're like the main characters and stuff are solid. Just like, I don't know, kind of forgettable ultimately. The setting is cool, I guess. Yeah, I think I'll give this one a slight bump at a 3. I feel like I would naturally want to go 2.5, but on the Scream franchise as a whole, I think 3 is a good spot to put it.
I want to watch this movie in the theater where they watch Stab, where people are going
I kind of
fucking
just want to
apeshit
watch
for no
Stab
reason.
now. I really just kind of want them to
be
make
in that theater,
Right?
to be honest.
I want to be in that theater. Fuck that.
You don't want to be
I
in
wanna
there
be
with
there.
me.
I would never take a piss for sure.
That's nobody would ever give you a license to kill, Drew.
I want
that's a
Randy
death
to be
wish.
there.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
I feel bad coming back for an anniversary episode and giving a 1.5, but these Scream movies suck.
It's not your fault. We want your honesty.
Drew, you've always been you've always been the guy to bring us down to earth. So
I'm pretty sure I was the first zero. I'm not gonna, if I remember.
I think that's true.
Ghost of Mars.
Ghost of Mars.
Ghost
yeah,
of Mars.
That sounds right.
You know,
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Who directed that again?
I apologized for that one. Yeah.
John Carpenter.
man.
I think
the classics.
I'm definitely warmer on this one than a lot of you guys. I'm
Oh
sitting
yeah,
with
Bob, out of 5. I
Yes.
forgot you had
Sit-
Randy.
Oh, Rob, you have an opinion?
sitting
Oh
with Brad.
shit.
Sitting with Brad on this one.
Wise man. You're a wise man and a good man. I don't care what they say about you.
I think
Which
you're
is a
talking
lot.
to me, but
He's talking to all three of us.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
I don't know.
He's not focused on any one person, so you can just take it as whoever you
No
want.
focus.
He's looking at a poster on the wall.
The eyes are very glazed. I'm
One
gonna
of you
say.
are not a good man. I'll let you know.
Wherever the
I've
wherever
left you a
my
series
dick
of
goes,
clues.
Figure
my
it out.
dick goes. So Bob is there.
I like this movie. It's definitely like I think you can watch it as like totally just a fun popcorn flick, whatever, fun slasher flick, and it works as that. And I definitely have a bit of nostalgia with this movie, with this series, just kind of in general. I think that it's, I think I mentioned this when we reviewed the original Scream movie. Like, to make a really good Scream flick, it has to first work as a good slasher. Second to that, it's got to have the slasher like meta commentary happening, and then it also has to have a bit of like social commentary happening. And I think this has all of those to like, I guess, varying degrees. The slasher element probably feels the most rinse and repeat. They're not in high school; they're in college, and like it's basically the same thing. For some reason, like all the press and all the police like go to the college, and they have like the chief of police is there holding a press conference at the college for some reason. It's, I don't know. It does feel like very, very similar to
College waiver wire and all
they got a waiver wire. But I think there's some cool set pieces as well, like the cop car I mentioned, the recording studio. The intro is potentially my favorite of the series. The like conclusion is okay. It's like, I don't know, maybe somewhere in the middle. So it's got some cool like slasher elements happening. I think it's got the meta commentary to like a moderate degree. Most of the stuff they comment on like sort of reflects in the movie, but like when it comes to like it being a sequel, that shit doesn't really totally come to fruition. I think the social commentary stuff is there too. They sort of continue on with the conversation of like, does violent media actually influence violence in real life and violence like amongst people? And like Mickey's character towards the end takes that idea and plans to use it totally as a scapegoat to exonerate himself. And I think that's an interesting idea to sort of highlight, like, are people really that malleable? Like, do you just not have any sort of agency? You watch a movie and all of a sudden you're a psycho killer? Like, it just
Can I
drives
chime in on that?
point. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's fair, except maybe I'm just misremembering, but I feel like that's more or less exactly what Stu and Skeet had in mind also, was they were going to blame the movies.
Yeah, maybe.
Right?
Like, so meta. Blame
Maybe.
That's what
it's their fault.
he's like. Oh, see, the difference for me is I'm going to blame the movies, and then we're going to have a court. I want to get caught so that we go to court, and I can blame the movies. But isn't
remember
that just
him
how they were
saying
getting
that.
out of trouble?
I don't remember
Or
him
am I
saying that
crazy?
exactly. I mean,
No, because they were
Crazy.
framing some. They were framing.
They
the
were
dad.
framing the dad.
They were framing the dad.
He
Yeah.
does.
That's
he-
right.
Crazy.
Okay.
He does say, like,
All right.
psycho or movies don't create psychos, movies make psychos more creative. And that is like, kind of at play here with Mickey, but he's going to use it like as his scapegoat so that he can give the people what they really want, which is that like big OJ trial. And like that was like a big thing.
Oh yeah.
A big thing in the 90s. And like, I wish they would have like focused on that a little bit more, because that was happening in the first movie too with the Cotton trial, and we get a taste of it. I wish that was like fleshed out a little bit more perhaps. And I also, like I mentioned, I dig the fact that they sort of touch on anyways, the whole like desensitization. Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. You know what I'm getting at.
They got that desensitity going.
These titties are desensititties. With the opening scene, anyway. There's some commentary. I'm done. It's a 3.5. I'm with you, boy, Brad. Aggregate 2.9 on this one.
It's a 3.5.
These titties are desensititties. Pick them up now at your local whatever the fuck.
I don't really mean this, so don't write it down. But
okay.
It gets plus 0.5 for mentioning The Empire Strikes Back.
I'm
sentimental hogwash.
Yeah, I'm writing it down. Okay, that's a 2.9 aggregate. Drew, you said you had something you wanted to like.
I do.
To hand out or
before we go on to something else.
Okay. Do it. Lay it on us.
I didn't want to overshadow.
This is where we get murdered.
Scream.
Ready to accept
a better movie, but I brought a drink.
Deposit
for
it. Deposit it, please.
A bunch of.
You don't have to drink this. Talking to you, Ross.
There you go, Ross. He's got a cooler full of.
It's a souvenir.
Organs.
This
my gosh.
Brad, tell me what it is. I'm with the audience. I can't.
Yeah, I'm looking at mine. I'm looking at mine right now.
Oh,
it's
cool.
great.
There you go.
This is a Blake's Hard Cider Black Phillip flavored.
The best movie ever reviewed on Straight Chilling Podcast.
So
Blake's Hard Cider, right?
The
movie.
Black Phillip Hard Cider.
Black Phillip, hell yeah.
This
you review Jaws, right?
Is hard.
I just want to live deliciously.
Yes,
I don't disagree, but I just want to put Drew, I want to put Drew at odds with himself.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? It's right here on the can.
Shit.
Actually, one of my
Must be stopped at every opportunity.
One of the things that lives in my memory from this podcast, one of my kind of favorite moments is, Drew always being kind of salty on some horror movies, but watching The Witch and it totally like blowing his nuts. He like never had seen it before, and it became one of his favorite movies. Like immediately, he was like, "That was fucking amazing."
To this day,
that movie fucking rules.
I could not believe how much I like that movie, and to this day, it is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
There you go.
Found your dream power, man.
It's actually a really good cider too. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, cool.
I guess I'm gonna pop
It tastes like
Yes,
butter.
it's delicious.
And bloody tits.
When are you guys gonna be here next? Because
I'm sorry, what?
when are you guys gonna be here next? I
Bob.
got 2 more cans for you here. But
2029.
okay,
2069.
I don't think Ross would remember if we
Put it in
very
cold
aged
storage
right
for
now,
us.
so you can just push this away.
We
Leave it with the top men.
You know what you should do? You should put it on Bob's shelf, and you'll know it'll never be touched. That's what you need.
That's true. Yeah, nobody will ever open that.
Just like, did you guys know?
Where did Bob go wrong? Were he and his friends sifting way too long for those Blu-ray fins? And it gets worse. He'll have no jet ski, wasting all his dough on those DVDs.
500.
Dude, I gotta take a screenshot and send it to you guys because Ross is standing in between Drew and Brad, but when he first stood there, dude, can you see it, Randy? Their arms make it look like he's got weird legs.
What? No, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Drew and Brad's arms make it look like Rickety has weird legs. Like, can you see the where their
I see it right
This
there,
might be the first.
Yeah, right there. I was like,
This must be the first
his legs?
visual-only episode of the show.
I was like, what is he doing with his legs? And it was their
Jesus
arms.
A delight to the senses, isn't it, my friend?
Well, hey, let's
Oh
go
my
ahead and
God.
get into our Rotten Tomatoes segment.
All right, let's do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is for Scream 2 on RottenTomatoes.com. Now, there are only 85 critic reviews. We're going to do critics and users as always. There are only 85 to count for in the critics category. So we're starting with the critics, and I think I'm going to start with some of our esteemed old friends here and guests. Let's start with Drew. Drew, what do you think out of those 85 reviews, what percentage would you wager are positive reviews?
68.
68. You're not going to go for the comedy number? What are you, a heretic? What the fuck?
No.
Jesus. You get off on being withholding. You're like Lucille Blue. Damn.
Let
All
somebody
right.
else do it.
Give me that extra digit.
All right. Brad, how about you?
Trying to think of a good random number to guess. So if I can... 72.
72 percentile.
69 still out there.
Yeah.
All right. Ross, what are you going to do for your critics reviews? 85 reviews. What percentage are positive?
I think I'm going to surprise everyone. I'm going to say 68.
We are shocked.
No. Let me back
That is a surprise because it's already been guessed.
Let me back that up. I'm going to say
All right.
69.
69? Well, hold on one second.
69!
Yeah, see, thank you. Thank you, Jews. That digit makes a fuckload of difference. I used the word on purpose because of 69. So, yes, I think 69 is the difference. I liked it. I liked the murders. I think it fits well in the genre. I think it's where it's at. It should not be more than 2. It should not be less than 1. So
I'll have what I'm having!
congratulations, you're where you're at.
I think Ross is
mediocrity looks great on you.
It's a C plus.
Ross, did you also just realize that Rob has a copy of The Land Before Time on VHS over here? Because that's kind of blowing my mind.
No,
That's classic.
I've never seen or touched it.
No.
That's an
Brad.
approved VHS right there.
I was shocked too.
I just had penis
Oh,
on the
man. Well, as you do.
Like nothing I'd ever smelled before in my life.
All right, Bob. What is your guess out of 85 reviews? What percentage do you think are positive reviews?
75.
75. All right, Juice, round us out here. What is
I
it
might
gonna
take
be?
the under on this one and take a 60. I don't think it's going to be that high. I don't
You
think people
slut.
love Scream 2 that much.
Fucking slut.
60. All right. Well, let's see. Just a review here. From Drew, we have 68. From Brad, we have 72. From Ross, we have 69. From Bob, we have 75. And from Juice, we have 60. Now, I'm going to tell you, the correct guess is only 6 percentage points away from the correct answer. And that correct
Justin.
answer is 81%. Bob's going to take this one. It is a certified banger, according to
That's
Rotten
a
Tomatoes.
hell skeet, brother.
What the fuck? 81. That is.
Yes, come with me.
Oh, we
That is one of the more shocking scores we've gotten in a while.
Oh, yeah. Come
I
with
don't-
me.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Is it more shocking than a second 68? I think
don't-
not.
I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes
Come
reviewing movies
with
that were
me.
out before Rotten Tomatoes.
That's
existed.
Well,
wild.
Rotten Tomatoes does not review anything, in fairness.
Well, yeah,
it is
I know.
just
Well,
aggregating.
I mean the people that are
Yeah, I don't-
recorded on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's an older movie, and you're right. Like, there's sort of like a rose-tinted glasses with older movies that are of some reputation. And I think this one kind of is. Like, it's got its fans, it's got its cult following.
Hell yeah.
So maybe that accounts for the extra bonus points. But even we didn't account for any of that. So,
It's
I
true.
mean,
It's
clearly
true.
it was more than we expected.
I thought
yeah.
Justin won. I was convinced.
What? Sorry.
Me too, Drew. Me too.
There's still time.
I always think
There's still time. I've seen I Saw the TV
Korean
Glow.
ice
All right.
cream is special, dude.
Yes.
Speak English, Doc. We ain't scientists.
Back to you, Randy.
All right. Let's do the critic score now, which is now referred to as the poopometer or the popcometer or popcornometer or whatever the fuck they want to call it now.
Whatever, bro.
The cornhole-ometer. Yeah. All right. We're going to go in reverse order this time, starting with Juice. Juice, what do you think that the 250,000 plus ratings aggregate to in terms of positive reviews?
I mean, I think I'll just double down on the 60. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't think it's that high.
How many
Ross
stains?
does not
How
approve.
many stains, Justin? God damn it.
60.
Which one of y'all dead motherfuckers just said that shit?
Take yourself seriously. I take you seriously.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's sweet.
Bob, how about you? Are you going to be able to talk? Are you?
I'm going to come in higher, I think. The critics are fucking... users are going to be below the critics. I'll take 72, please.
72. All right. I believe next, Ross, here's your chance. What do you think that those 250,000 plus user ratings aggregate to in terms of positive reviews?
I had to mute myself. So 7. Okay. All right. In terms of performance and overall maturity, I'll give it a 75, and then in terms of enjoyment, I'll give it a 80. Because
No. I fear you've misunderstood the question, my guy.
No. That's the answer. No. Fuck off.
No. There's
That's
one
the
answer, not two. Give me one number.
That's the only.
Call it a 77.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll call it a 77. Sure.
Yeah.
You got to
Okay.
round up to 78. You got to round up.
Tasty. That's the only
All
answer
right.
DC is getting tonight. So.
Brad, how
Fuck
about you?
me.
Where are you going with those 250,000 plus ratings?
Well, I had a number, and then Rob took my number, and then Ross started talking. So it's like, I can't think of the number.
There's a lot of numbers. Just pick one.
I assure you the stakes are low.
Oh, thank God. Then that number will also be low.
In my corner.
I'm going to go 65. On
Sounds
this.
like a Ross man to
65.
me.
I'm going that.
All right, Drew, bring us home. Where are you going to take it?
Oh,
just
man.
for a
Goodbye,
review.
Washington. You lost.
I was
We've
going
got
to ask her a review.
60 from Juice, 72 from Bob, 77 from Ross, 65 from Brad, rather. Excuse me. How about you?
59.
Oh, Brad.
What's that?
59. I'm going to try to steal this one
59.
from Justin.
All right, 59. Well, gentlemen, some easy math
I
at
knew
play
I
here.
didn't
Real
like
easy
you.
math. The correct answer is just one single percentage point away from the ringy-dingy perfect answer. And the perfect answer would have been 58%. Drew is taking it home. The resident serial killer snags another one.
Yeah, you should go home.
The sneaky slay.
Congratulations to Drew for that.
The users
So-
never disappoint. Oh, sorry.
You disappoint me.
That's, I can tell you firsthand that is simply not true. But anyway, on RottenTomatoes.com, that is a frequent thing that they disappoint, as do the critics, for that matter. We all, nobody aligns perfectly with my
Their
score, so
review
they're all
of The
wrong.
Witch probably sucks, I would say that.
I don't know. Well, you'll have to review our episode, whatever episode number that was.
It's less than 500.
All right, let's go and quickly read the critics' consensus, which reads as follows: as with the first film, Scream 2 is a gleeful takedown of scary movie conventions that manages to poke fun at terrible horror sequels without falling victim to the same fate. Debatable, it sounds like, with this crew. Debatable.
Faux show.
Quite.
Let's debate it
Debatable.
again.
Again? Let's do. This episode's gonna be 12 hours long. Let's find some negative reviews here, as they are often the funniest, but not always. Here's one. This copycat plot has little of the fun of Scream and a lot of the dull slash and chase scenes. I think Drew wrote that, probably, right?
I didn't write that. I didn't like Scream,
No.
so
It's in his handwriting.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I misattributed a love of a great movie to you. I apologize.
there you go.
We'll read one more and then we'll move on. At least the movie within a movie angle and the creative liberties taken with details in Gale's book are somewhat clever.
Fuck that.
Somebody, yeah. I'm going to go with Ross on this one. Fuck that.
I'm surprised that
man.
was a negative review. It sounded pretty positive.
Yeah.
It is not It's 4 out of 10, that review. So
Okay.
it's saying that at least the movie within the movie and the book within the movie, which we hear almost nothing about, are somewhat clever. And I don't have any idea what makes him think that Gale's book is clever of all things.
Somebody
but
imagined
you know,
a whole lot.
Was that Armand
so
White?
yeah,
that
somebody's
wrote that
got
one.
No, Armand probably did give it a negative review. Yeah, all right. That's it for Rotten Tomatoes segment. Bob, what's our trivia looking like?
We're gonna blow by trivia and just
We're gonna blow by trivia.
Yeah, we're doing Cooter of the Week. Let's get into it.
Straight chillin'. Cooter of the Week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why do we hunt them?
Oh, Cooter's character type in a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter, but we want the cooter with the most points. Boys, let's all run them down together. What are the 5 points of cooterdom? Do we know?
Ooh, I think we should defer to Ross on this one. Ross,
say all 5. All 5 of them.
No.
He did
all
all
my lord.
Don't do this to me.
It's a hard no.
Don't do this to yourselves. Don't do this to the group. Don't
It's
do
a
this to
75%
Leave me alone
likability,
right now,
80%.
unless you truly
I'm
want
curious
the
what he
answer.
believes they are.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
All right, I'll give the 5
Son
points.
of a bitch.
Hey,
They
Juice,
are.
what are the 5 points of cooterdom?
Sexual deviancy, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, is there a cooter in Scream Deuce?
Yes.
Ooh.
Who,
Absolutely.
Drew? You seem
Go,
certain.
boys. Go, boys.
It is Omar
Go,
Epps
team. I've done
from the
Omar
opening
Epps,
scene.
okay.
He
Shocking.
is the cooter.
Go, team. Go.
Explain.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
He's
I trust you.
talking about taking the girl back to his house to do some shit with her. He's
Okay.
sexually deviant.
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
Wait, his girlfriend?
Yeah, his girlfriend.
I mean, they can fuck.
Wait, his
They can
girl?
fuck. Yeah, that's fine. But she clearly wasn't into it at the moment, and he was just like, "I deserve it." So
What, his
Famous-
girlfriend?
Whoa.
Famously, my girlfriend does not accept me speaking sexually towards them. So,
Okay,
Well,
continue.
when they're upset,
Well,
you can't
It's a
do
case
that.
by case basis.
all right, go ahead, Drew. Continue.
yes, keep
Okay.
it moving.
Is-
Personal bias here.
His 1997 brown leather jacket.
Looking at tire, okay.
Brown leather jacket. Okay.
I guess
I've never. I haven't seen. You're right. I haven't seen a leather jacket in brown since the '90s. What an.
I like to think
Yeah.
that Drew crosses the street when somebody in a brown leather
Dude, I
jacket
love it.
comes by.
What else?
I forget what the other 3 points are.
Manipulation, smug arrogance.
He was definitely smug.
Patheticness.
Smug as shit.
He was.
That guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super smug.
I
He's
agree.
more smug than
All
any
right.
of either of the killers.
Oh, okay.
Manipulation.
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 That's a
Patheticness.
I don't think
And
so. That's kind of a big
patheticness.
one
It's
too.
tough,
And
yeah.
patheticness.
maybe.
I don't know. To me, like I
maybe
don't.
his
I don't
sexual
see some of that.
deviance is pathetic. I don't know.
With his
I
girlfriend.
think that making passes at your girlfriend is
upset girlfriend.
socially acceptable. His girlfriend is upset because she's not watching a Sandra Bullock movie. That's
Yes.
not a. That's not a.
His-
He
the worst
does.
thing in the
He does at one point offer to go watch the Sandra Bullock movie. His least cooter moment.
You've
Yeah.
offended most of the
He
people.
gives
in this
her
room,
money
I
for
think.
does.
concessions.
Yeah,
he
that's
jumps out and
nice.
scares her.
Reluctantly.
He does, yeah. Which is
and she was being a
Manipulation.
cooter in that
She's
moment.
manipulating
she's
her
she's like, I got
feelings
money, but I
into
would
being
ask for
scared.
your money.
Demanding
you know?
money. Yeah. It's, you know what's pathetic is his choice to wear that brown jacket. That's pathetic.
hell yeah.
That's certainly, but
That's 5.
Yeah. Carhartt deserves
I just see a guy
better
with a
than
brown
that.
just got
jacket and I
all
go,
five.
"You
He
little
lost the first
worm.
5 minutes of the movie.
You little
There you go.
you really are just a
Mud-stained
pathetic
asshole.
piece of shit.
You
I don't
Lick
know.
my heel, worm."
You
Okay,
brought your
okay.
girlfriend to a movie wearing a jacket. You piece of
The
shit.
attire was a stretch. But the other 4 points nailed it. He's a cooter.
Drew, you have
Okay.
a brown jacket, I'm pretty sure,
I guess
right?
your Carhartt jacket smells like hot dogs.
Oh, Drew
said I'm
Drew
the
only
killer.
wears black jackets, or else.
I think of the killers, Mickey is probably the closest to the cooter, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's pathetic to ape a couple of high school students
Yeah.
and murdering people. I think it's just generally kind of pathetic.
And his whole thing is manipulation to blame it on the movies. So you
Right.
got that.
Smug arrogance. He's talking about putting Bob Dole on the stand. Like, you have to be psychotic to think that shit's happening.
Bob Dole, so timely.
Sexual. Yeah, no shit. Looking attire,
no
normal.
sexual deviance, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think
And looking
so.
attire is pretty normal. So,
But that's 3.
So
His
Omar
face.
Epps.
His face is rough.
Well-
I don't know.
Okay.
No, you guys are right. You guys are right.
was there anybody else though? There wasn't really anybody else who stood out.
What
to me.
about Miss
Randy's
Loomis?
a little pathetic.
Miss
Okay, sorry,
Loomis?
Rob, you go ahead. Miss Loomis.
Yeah, so
Laurie Metcalf.
She's manipulating Mickey and literally everybody around her. Her attire, apparently she had some plastic surgery, I guess. I don't know if you want to count that or not.
It's called
to,
a makeover, Rob.
to
That's
disguise
okay.
herself.
That's
Nobody,
okay.
nobody
But to
said
dis-
anything about
No, no.
plastic
We've all
surgery.
had some work
That was
done.
never brought
Okay.
It was
Just a makeover.
I had
No.
my asshole tightened 3 times. It's totally fine.
You got the tightest ass in town, motherfucker.
I know. It's a snare drum in that bitch.
I think she had work done
Oh,
to
my
manipulate
God.
people, is what it sounds like. Sexual deviance,
Yeah.
not really. I think patheticness, like, I don't know, she
Yes.
became a
High rating.
a psychotic person because her psychotic kid got killed. So she, like, it's
Well, and because her fucking husband cheated on her,
Yeah.
and because her son was a psycho who tried to kill a bunch of people and was caught red-handed and murdered because of it in the course of his quote unquote duties, and she's like, "You murdered my son."
Her
We're all
Oh.
just one bad day away, boys. That's what Miss Loomis taught us.
Yeah. I do like that she's like, my motive is very simple. It's just revenge. You killed my son. I like that moment, but it's very pathetic that you're like, yo, like, it's like if like one of the people whose kids committed like a school shooting or something started killing people. It's like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Like, Jesus Christ, get your shit together. No wonder your kid was fucked up. And obviously that hasn't happened. I'm not casting aspersions, but
I mean, like, where is
Peter Dinklage?
I think he should be in every movie, personally. Mrs. Loomis. What else is left for Mrs. Loomis? Sexual deviancy. No, I think she got 3.
beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, Loomis is at least 3.5. That's gotta be the Cooter, I think.
We got the Cooter.
I think we got the Cooter.
You guys need to rewatch the opining sequence. Omar Epps is definitely a Cooter.
That jacket
Dude, I don't
is
know how
pissing
you
me
turn on
off.
Omar and not Jada Pinkett. Jada Pinkett is smug as fuck in that scene. She is annoying as shit. And like,
annoying
and
is
she
not
like
one of the 5.
it's not.
That's
You're correct
true,
about
Tell
that.
him.
You're correct
Tell
about
him.
that. You're correct about that. But I'm not saying she's the Cooter. I'm just saying, like, I don't know how you side with Omar in that situation.
Sorry. He was right.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't. She's very, very irritating. All right, we got our Cooter, right?
I think
Lock
we got
up?
him. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, we got him.
I think
like,
we got
am I
him.
even here? Like,
You are.
oh.
Who
Yes.
just spoke?
Yeah.
Did Brad?
It's you
Does this
now.
hurt?
Did Brad give any input?
to
You're
being a
great
cooter?
Cooter.
No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I was kind of thinking Gail for a
Drew,
little bit.
you're great.
Oh, Gail. Actually,
Hit
that's
us
a
with
good
Gail.
call,
I want to
Brad.
hear about Gail.
I mean, Gail is just like she is pathetic. Like she sells the whole story from the first one, even though she was almost murdered multiple times.
That's fair.
I think like
She
just
shits on Dewey hard.
shits on.
Well, it's
Dewey
her
hard.
story then, though, to some degree.
That's why I didn't say it. Like I feel like there's some breadcrumbs you can follow with Gail. Like she always has this like overly kind of like exaggerated like dress too. Like
She blindsides Sydney with
It's a
blindside Sydney.
important to the character.
Well, it's her story, but she also manipulates the facts.
She does. Yeah,
She does.
She's looking out for
But
number
she also
one.
exonerates a guy in the first movie. I guess that's the first movie, though. I
And
don't
she
want to
manipulates
qualify anything from the
Sydney.
first movie.
She does.
Yeah.
It's more like
I would
okay,
say that.
Go ahead,
I'm sorry.
Randy.
No. You go ahead. You got it.
I was just gonna say. So I think the killer is always the easy. Like, okay, this is
Yeah.
somebody who's probably a cooter. Yeah, they murder people. Gail, though, it's subtle. So I think there's some subtle breadcrumbs that you could follow that are like, yeah, I don't really like this bitch.
She
I think that's a good call.
I think that's fair
I'm not
because
gonna
like
lie.
a cooter.
I'm willing to change my
is.
answer
and
here.
honestly, I don't mean to like.
from downtown.
I don't mean to totally shit on Gail, but her hair situation in this movie is not terrible. But in part 3, it gets a little.
It's terrible.
Is that what she has, the
You can't
bangs, or is
qualify
that
part
two?
1 or
It's the
3.
bangs.
The
We
bangs,
can't
yeah,
do
that's
that.
fucking terrible. Yeah. Oh, and
That
then
was
that's
a
like
hate
hate
crime
hair's
against
and
white
beyond.
women.
Oh.
I think her hair's fine in this one.
Yeah,
no, in this one it's fine. She looks hot as fuck. This is the best she's looked in the franchise.
Actually, yeah, that's probably the best
Hide
she's
the
looked.
boner if you can.
No, Courtney Cox. I mean, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you guys?
What's wrong with
I will
you?
say this.
She was Courtney Cox Arquette at the time, though, wasn't she?
I will say this. I think that there is a Cooter that does all the things that Gale does, but worse, and that is Cotton Weary. Cotton Weary is pathetic as shit. He doesn't get anything he wants until the very fucking end of this movie, and it's only because he's in this weird fucked up position to be the red herring in the moment of rescue. Otherwise, he's just like blindsided by Gale constantly, trying to get people to call his publicist. It's pretty pathetic. I think.
Don't know if he had enough though, because maybe you could give him patheticness and manipulation would be fair, but I don't really think he hits anything else.
Sexual deviancy. The whole reason he's there is because he slept with Sydney's married mom. I guess there's something to be said about that.
That's not bad either. That's not bad either.
I mean, but this is his story. They talk about that event in this movie because it is important to his character. We don't know anything else about him before this movie.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
I think that it qualifies. And also, look and attire, I think is fine. But let's see. What's smug arrogance? I think there's a little smug arrogance. He kind of goes off on Sydney,
It's like, you owe it to me, Sid.
You kind of owe me, Sid. You kind of owe me. Which is both pathetic and a little manipulative, I would say. Misogynistic. I don't know. Misogynistic, maybe, yeah. That is the person whose daughter, whose mother you slept with, who then got killed. Granted, she put you away, so he has reason to be upset with her. So I think it's debatable, but I think that if you're gonna put Gale up there, Cotton's right, at least neck and neck.
I don't disagree.
That's fair.
Plus, doesn't he wear a turtleneck, like a black turtleneck?
All three of us make good points here, I would say.
Yeah.
All three of us.
All three of the people on this podcast.
Well,
there are three people making
suggestions made for Cooter.
There are three people
I'll let you figure out which
points.
Speak English, Doc. We ain't scientists.
Boys, there's
all right.
Who the fuck is the Cooter of the week?
There's one host representing each Scream movie here tonight, so I'll let you figure out who represents.
What are you?
I want to be 4. I'm 4.
Yeah.
I'm number 1, so that's.
Oh, well, I didn't know it was Dibs' situation, or that this was legitimate. Hey, Cooter of the Week is going to be a combo of Mickey, Miss Loomis, Gale, and Cotton Weary.
Maybe Cotton or Gale. They're both good. And then Mickey probably.
Yeah.
I think I would. Yeah.
I think Cotton and Gale both somewhat at least redeem themselves at the end, whereas...
Yeah, but that doesn't take away points, Bob. You can't minus points through redemption. You're
still pathetic and still do shit.
But if there's a tie,
this isn't. Don't play lawyer ball, Bob.
Okay.
We're not playing lawyer ball here, Bob.
Lock them all up.
Can.
Just lock them all up.
Just lock them all up.
We got them all.
We do it all the time.
Everybody's a Cooter. We got them all.
Yeah, there we go.
I guess I do say we want the Cooter with the most points.
You do
but
every time,
at this
but
point,
fuck it. It doesn't matter.
It's a game of inches here.
We got them all.
We got
Cooters.
I think we nailed this segment.
We've been hunting Cooters for 10 years, so I think we get a pass.
We've never done it better.
Let's be real.
This is the moment, in every cop in every true crime's career, where they're like, we'll just go with it, and then years later they get called out by fucking some documentarian. Anyway,
got it.
We got
throw a dart at the dartboard.
Oh, man.
You'll find one.
If I have any more fun today, I don't think I'm going to be able to take it.
I can't take it.
All right. We got the fucking Cooter League. Boys, thank you guys so much for returning for episode 500, re-reviewing the movie that we kicked this whole fucking podcast off with.
It's been 10 years, boys. Whoa.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It reminds me of a time that is past. A simpler time, yes.
Was a simpler time.
Precisely as you remembered?
The show or the movie?
The experience. Of recording this podcast.
It was not. No, Jack's not here, who's my twin brother who died 2 years ago. He put it in front of us to have fun and enjoy, and which we're doing right now. So fuck it. We're having a great time. That's, so in that alone, we're celebrating him.
Yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
that's that's him, so fuck it. We're having a great time. So I love you guys. I love the audience. Y'all have a great time. You'll enjoy. And I love you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a perfect.
Oh, you're going to send us off there, yeah?
I thought you were too. Yeah. Also, Jack gifted us this podcast. That's 100% true, and everything that's happened since has been a result of him and his drive and his want to hang out with us, and we all still want to hang out. We're still all buddies, and this is it's beautiful to see you guys, genuinely and seriously.
It is.
Thank you guys for coming on.
So much love in this room. Good luck, guys. Have a good time.
Bob, do you want to send us out?
I couldn't fucking say anything better than that. Thank you guys so much for sitting in with us. We're going to have a whole second part of the show, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Do we have messages?
Has all this spice been sucked out of your sex life? Would you like to indulge in scenes of the flesh with centuries of sensuality? Then jog your hog down to Straight Geeling's Sexy Time Emporium and Goth Sex Nightclub, located at 6969 Bram Stroken Boulevard. The engorged aisles are overflowing with sea-doo vibes, Robert's rubbers, C-strings in all colors, glass bottom boat instructional videos, inflatable space vampires, rigid bulged boner pills, air skeet and yeet lubrication, and butt plugs ranging from medium to loose. Hugh Janus gives it 2 raging thumbs up. The Straight Geeling Sexy Time Emporium is now a proud sponsor of the annual Dillard's Dick Down. Gain free entry with every purchase. Now clean that peen and get ready to scream at the Straight Geeling Sexy Time Emporium and Goth Sex Nightclub. You thought you were hard with a Straight Geeling crew before, and now you really are. Now look at sexy Dracula's feet, you pieces of shit. And we're back with the second half of the truly out of control and unhinged episode 500. Thanks again to Ross, Brad, and Drew for sitting in with us, and thanks to our brand new sponsors, Straight Chilling, Sexy Time Emporium, and Goth Sex Nightclub. Jog your hog down there. Boys, welcome back on the second half of the show. It's just Randeezy, Soju, and myself talking all things horror from the past decade.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
That's what we've been doing. We can't stop. We've been talking about horror for 10 fucking years, 2014 to 2024, and we wanted to have sort of a roundtable discussion for the back half of episode 500, just about how the state of horror has progressed over those 10 years, from studios to trends, streaming, how COVID affect the game for basically everybody, and, succinctly just sort of wrap up and summarize 10 entire years of horror filmmaking, in about an hour. No big deal. No big deal.
That's an easy task for us.
Oh, yeah,
We do that every day.
Known for being so succinct. See, you can't even say it. You can't even say it.
Are you sure you don't
I got to replace my Sea-Doo vibe, by the way. I got to stop by the Emporium. I'm on.
You think I got a lifetime warranty, don't they? Man, you really
motor's just not strong enough,
God damn.
I need something with a little torque, you know what I'm saying?
Throw my ass around the room is what I need.
God damn.
Sexy Dracula. You got to look at his feet.
The new Mithrigan model sounds pretty promising.
God damn.
Throw your ass around.
Boys, 10 years of horror. Who would have thought we'd still be here?
I thought I would be dead.
I just meant on this podcast, not in general.
I mean, well, yeah, me too.
We don't exist outside of this podcast anyways, so
10 years, boys. Whoa.
We're just normal men.
We're just normal men.
In 2014, I feel like there was some interesting stuff happening, but there was like this, I kind of see it as the kind of ass end of the like spooky haunted house era of like, you know, the early 2000s, like 2000 to 2010 or whatever. It felt like it was like dominated by like haunted house movies.
I don't know.
You had a hodgepodge vampires
and like
vampires. Too,
I think vampires is kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Vampire zombies.
Zombies.
Like,
yeah. I
kind of feel like those were the big ones.
Found footage too was popping off. You know, it's
Found
a blend.
footage,
It's a blend of
Sure,
shit.
yeah.
And
That's true.
and with that going away, the era of like torture porn. Platinum Dunes remakes.
Right.
So like there was a lot of that
stuff.
Just when this decade that we're talking about began. But I think that the Conjuring and the Blumhouse of it all really turned the tide on that and started making it really haunted house stuff and not just in a Paranormal Activity way.
Yeah, I feel that. Paranormal Activity came out in 2000 or no, it was later than that, wasn't it?
No, Paranormal Activity was like 2007. I want to say.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then Insidious was like 2010. 09, okay. And then The Conjuring was 2013. And that sort of feels like the cap of that. I don't know. And then like the beginning of something new, like right around the time we started this. Maybe I felt that way because we started this show and I started paying more attention, but it kind of feels that way.
Maybe.
Blumhouse catching a lot of steam and like A24 coming around.
The model of like give a creator some money and let them do their thing started becoming like a known model that worked, that got results for studios in a monetary way, that they actually started paying attention to it finally, like as a method. Yeah. And it's about the only genre at least that I'm aware of that started embracing that at that time to a point where it was successful and it was reliable. And now that like things are kind of collapsing a little bit on the big budget tentpole model, I think that it's taken up a new importance in the game. It's not just like a unique model like it was then. Back then we were like, oh my God, thank God there's somebody like just giving some money to folks and letting them run loose.
Well, I mean, talking about giving money to folks, I mean, I'm just going to pop off a couple names here, and I think this all falls within, our 10-year range that we're talking about. But I mean, Robert Eggers, Mike Flanagan, Ari Aster, Adam Wingard, Jordan Peele, I mean, all of their movies, I think, fall, even their first movies fall into this 10-year time period that we're talking about. Jordan Peele's Get Out came out 2017. Hereditary was also 2017. The Witch 2015, I believe.
Yeah.
So I mean, some of the biggest names that we've got in horror today, I mean, all had their first films come out at that time. So and then too with Mike Flanagan kind of popping off with the kind of series, well, during that time. Haunting of Hill House was 2019-ish.
I'll look it up.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Within that range. Yeah, definitely.
18, yeah. And like 18, right before that, I mean, not right before that, but we did have American Horror Story, and I think that kind of bridges the gap, at least with series is concerned. Between like that sort of Platinum Dunes era and then like torture porn to getting back to like kind of root horror, I would call it a little bit, where it's like I don't know, stuff that's based on domestic fears but not based on grit necessarily. The grittiness aesthetic started fading.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good grit, but
with cheese and butter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That whole just giving a creator some money and letting them run wild did seem to sort of really start to take off. You've got A24 coming out in 2012. That was definitely their model, and it seems like it largely still is, even though they're kind of getting into bigger budget stuff these days.
Yeah. They're going IP laden now.
Blumhouse
famously,
for
but-
sure. Spectravision in 2010 with Elijah Wood, a very similar kind of thing. Shudder coming along in 2015, very similar.
Shudder.
Neon, I was interested to see they started their company in 2017 with the Alamo Drafthouse co-founder. I thought they'd been around longer than that for some reason.
Who is this? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Neon.
Neon. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the first thing I remember seeing a Neon. No. I mean, I associate it with Neon Demon. Is that even a Neon production? I don't know. Actually,
maybe.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Well, I was going through some Neon lists, but I mean, I was kind of surprised at some, and not even necessarily all horror either. Some horror adjacent that we'll mention on the show, but I mean, like Parasite 2019. Well, okay, we're talking Neon. So this isn't horror, but fucking Portrait of a Lady on Fire, amazing, from 2019. Pig was also not horror, but still Anatomy of a Fall, which I still haven't seen. Well, I think it's maybe kind of horror adjacent.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call that horror, but it's in a thriller crime drama sort of situation, and it's an Academy Award nominee, just like Parasite won.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are
and Possessor 2020,
Possessor,
it's a fucking banger.
Triangle of Sadness, Long
yeah,
Legs.
Revenge, yeah, Long Legs is one of their newest, yeah. Which I guess, are they, since they did Revenge, are they attached to the Substance? I'm not sure. The list I have, I don't think accounts for
that's that director. I'm not. I don't think I saw their
that's why I was
name
thinking.
on the credits for Substance, but
Titan.
Ooh, some good
Three
French
Identical
stuff.
Strangers. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they put out a lot of good shit in a short amount of time.
Yeah,
Pretty high quality
Infinity
shit.
Pool. So yeah, they're all over Mr. Cronenberg.
Brandon, my boy.
Yeah. I wonder if they did Crimes of the Future too. Maybe. Keep looking.
Maybe.
Seeing it,
Yeah,
but I
they
don't
did Crimes of the Future. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So they
all
just
right.
they're
That's-
supporting
man.
the Cronenberg. So they got their name.
It's all
Well,
a tax
it's
write-off for the Cronenberg name.
Well, in some way, it's interesting. I didn't realize that, but I mean, if they're like kind of supporting Cronenberg, but like Mike Flanagan, he was over. I don't think he is anymore, but for several years, especially with the series, like he was kind of propped up by Netflix. But talking about the idea of like investing in a director to where you have these names, and even honestly, I mean, going back a little bit further, and it's why I didn't bring his name up, but I mean, seeing James Wan, like, and maybe he was the influence for this decade of what we saw, because I mean, James Wan launching into, I mean, he got so popular off the properties that he made in horror that he then ended up doing, you know, Aquaman's and Fast and Furious films and stuff, which is, but we see that with Adam Wingard too. I mean, you know, him.
Stuff,
I mean,
Well, like,
so
if you are a big enough name in the like startup,
Michael
like
Dougherty,
throw
too.
money at a director model, you will at one point it was like almost presumed, it might still be, that you would get a shot at a Marvel movie. Like that was like the breeding ground for Marvel directors to some degree, or at least to big budget tentpole releases, like the ones that are like that they're throwing billions at worldwide. Like it really was kind of an incubator for that sort of thing. And I mean, I think that made it all the more appealing for studios to do that. It's almost like the festival circuit was a feeder for the small budget director indie horror, and then that was a feeder for the bigger projects. So we saw people go from nascent unknown names to getting like insane amounts of work or recognition or name recognition. Like look at Mike Flanagan now. People I work with who don't know or care about horror in any way, they know generally the Mike Flanagan brand, as it were.
Yeah.
Like they know this man's work. Everybody knows Jordan Peele. For obviously, he had a leg up to begin with. But I mean, it just really seemed like that was a working model, and hopefully, it keeps working that way. But I hope, like, it seems like they're also allowing other genres into this thing, or at least I don't know. There's more money being spread around to other things as well. Unfortunately, in some cases, to IP, which is exactly what it was trying. That it was successful at subverting. But you know, who am I to complain? Except, you know, a horror fan,
I mean,
and
you
that's
are,
what
I mean, you're a professional already.
I'm a pro fan.
10 years. Why
Just not
you
at
get
this.
you get written in after 10 years. You just automatically you're
It's
professional.
like an honorary degree.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't study a lick, but I sure want to. I'm a doctor.
You put
now,
enough
people.
time in, so we'll give it to you.
10,000 hours.
Break forever.
It does seem like some of these companies went like the Roger Corman route in a way, where you like make one or two pictures for Blumhouse, and then you get scooped up, and you don't have to work with these super low budgets anymore. You can go on and do bigger and better things, and people get to learn your name and stuff like that. Kind of a similar situation, just not on such a mass level as Roger Corman has
I
done.
guess that's not a new story, but it seemed so novel at the time, and it seemed really isolated to horror as far as I knew at the time that we started this podcast. That's like, wow,
Time
that's
is a
great, because at
flat circle, bro. You know?
Yeah, because I thought then we were inundated with too many superhero properties.
Yeah.
How fucking naive were we? Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know. Like, and now there's just like no like just original stuff unless it's something that like passed through that like that narrow hole of coming together and like getting success in this. It's a real narrow hole. You really got to zero in on this hole.
Juice,
you just have to narrowly get down the drain pipe there. You know,
you were about to say something, Juice.
Well, I was just gonna say. I mean, even I used to joke a lot. I mean, not joke actually. I used to say a lot that you know, like, oh, the past or the teens were kind of like the best 10 years of horror. But I mean, if you kind of separate it, I mean, even like you said, Bob, there's always some bleed over. To where, you know, the 90s didn't really end in 99. You see a lot of the influences kind of spread out into like 2003 ish, you know, I would say, before it's really kind of like really gets outdated and stuff. And so I think that same applies in this too. Like you start to see this transitions around 2009, 2010, but I think like really it's interesting for us to talk about the 10 years that we've been covering it, because I think that more kind of closely represents the trends and maybe where they're maybe starting to fade now, or maybe the tides are turning a little bit. But I mean, I really do think that is like some of the best horror that has been created in some of like the past 100 years. So, I mean, if you just take a look at like some of the horror films that came out, I mean, like, you know, I was mentioning some of the directors but some of their work, you know, like The Lighthouse, Hereditary, Midsummer, you know, Get Out,
elevated horror.
Well,
Tusk.
I mean, not necessarily all elevated. Tusk, but It Follows. You know, I think that was the winner of our. Maybe it was Hereditary.
Hereditary.
But it was those two
going.
Yeah. But I mean,
reference
I think
episode, whatever that is.
yeah, our God, what was that game called?
It was like
Blood.
Yeah, Bracket of Blood.
Bracket of Blood. Thank you.
We did that.
We did that. But
I saw that
5 years ago. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I literally could see that bracket in my sleep. I worked so many hours trying to get those fucking graphics together.
but no, I mean, I just think like the Wailing, you know, stuff like that. If you look at like judging at horror as like this kind of whole, and where some of the best modern horror films come from, I mean, I think they came from the past 10 years, in my opinion. You know, I mean, that's going to be subjective, of course, but I mean, I really do think that there is like some things that are going to live on. You've got your Pearls and stuff now. Yeah, and we got some recency bias too, but I mean, like, not. I don't think like if we go back to some of our number ones from the past, like 5 to 6 years, are they all going to live on as classics? No, probably not. But I mean, I still think like Talk to Me is going to have its place in horror. Pearl and, you know, and definitely Hereditary, Lighthouse. I mean, some of those have already been around now.
Terrifier. We're not getting rid of Terrifier.
No, you're
Godzilla
not.
-1 more recently.
Godzilla.
Just
Godzilla in general was like we didn't invent the Godzilla.
It's not going anywhere for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about that though. Like there is some recency bias, and definitely some things are going to taper off. But there's going to be a few like Psycho level movies from this era. I think Hereditary might be one. Like movies that would be
I think so.
worthy of dissection and just if only in terms of their impact years down. There's a few Jawses in there. Fucking Get Out,
The Witch,
is, like
is
maybe not
going anywhere.
The Witch.
Yeah.
Like
The
those
Witch,
are
yeah.
movies to be not just loved but studied, and
Halloween
because of their
Ends.
cultural impact.
Staying.
Oh my god.
Oh,
man.
yeah. That's an underrated gem, really.
About all that boogeyman bullshit.
That is going to be
Nice.
the one the Utes are going to latch onto and like claim that we don't get it and some bullshit. So that will have its
about Ghost of
place.
Michael Myers, so sure.
We don't get it. We don't.
But I mean, really, if you look, I mean, like the kind of holy trinity of the modern horror directors. But I mean, just their Get Out, Midsummer. I mean, Get Out, Hereditary, and The Witch alone. Just like those three tentpole horror films. I mean, those are huge. But I mean, all of their follow ups too, like have almost just as much weight. Us and Nope and
Nope,
and
so good.
Lighthouse and probably Nosferatu, which will drop by the end of
Beau
this
is
year.
Afraid.
Beau is Afraid.
Well,
Yeah.
that's an outlier. But
Wow. It Follows is a big one.
John
and
Carpenter loves it.
I'm curious to see the sequel come, which I think is supposed to come out next year, like 10 years after the original, only because David Robert Mitchell is directing it. Micah Moreau's coming back for it. It could be hot garbage because that movie doesn't need a sequel at all, but
Right.
I don't know. We'll see.
That's
that's definitely one I'm willing to give more grace to. Like, there's a lot of films that come out these days, the trend, and we can talk about it now, but the trend of the legacy sequels and the go backs and the revisits. I mean, that's one that horror films have sequels all the time, and that's fine. And sometimes they're garbage, and sometimes they're good. And sometimes they're medium, and that's fine too.
We had a pretty medium year so far. I think that generally that's how we're feeling about like a lot of medium films. And I agree. That's not bad. I would much rather have a medium year than a down year. Every time. And as far as like trends though, there's also this trend I'm noticing recently, like, and maybe it's been around for a while. I don't know. I know that like this is something that isn't entirely new, but because like the like streaming horror shows as like an anthology is like so popular and so like reliable as a moneymaker and just like so out there right now, in combination, I think it's like bred this thing where we have franchises that are like already planning multiple movies even before like the first or second movie drops. Like we've got 3 Stranger sequels that are kind of supposed to be directly linked, like chapter 1, 2, and 3, right? Like we've only got one. That one was Boo Boo. We all agreed.
Bad, man.
But they had plans for the beginning, like, and part of that I guess is also it's partially like a tangent of the MCU universe model as well. So like it's this like long game that studios keep trying to play, and it's like rolling like an infinite number of dice trying to get a Yahtzee. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. That's a bad metaphor, but it just doesn't necessarily make. It doesn't. It's a big risk. It's a big risk, almost as big of a risk as any tentpole movie. So it's like they're making the same mistakes in a new way. I kind of feel
we
like
have seen that though. I mean, it's still talking about within the past 10 years, that planned universal monster.
Yeah.
I mean, that fell apart with literally one film. And I mean, we've I don't know if I ever even saw it, but I thought I remembered there being plans like that for like Dracula Untold and
they had that movie
that came out.
I don't know.
Anybody saw it?
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, I know there were planned stuff like,
and it ruled.
Yeah, sure. And but I mean, just because people say some shit, which I guess the Stranger stuff, they filmed it. So it is what it is.
They hired everybody for that dark universe situation. Like Johnny Depp was going to be the Invisible Man, and they had like a big photo shoot spread.
Anthony Bardem? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like
Vogue or
a
Entertainment
go
Weekly or something?
until that Mummy movie made no money, and then they canned the whole idea. And now they're doing, I think, what we talked about before. They're finding like people that are filmmakers with like an inspired idea, and they're just letting them make their ideas. Like that Invisible Man movie that came out was solid. They've got a Wolfman movie coming out this January.
I think they're at least marketing it that way. I'm not convinced that they're not going like, because they're like Lee Winnell did the Invisible Man like as a resurgence after that debacle with the Mummy, and that was surprised people by being like pretty good.
Yeah,
and now he's the same person they go to for Wolfman.
Yeah.
So again, like they're still rolling safe bets on that scale.
safe as
I can't
possible,
totally blame them for business sense, but for art sense, it doesn't necessarily translate to the same success.
They've got Maggie Gyllenhaal doing a Bride of Frankenstein movie as well, and
that's right. I forgot about that.
There's one or two other ones I don't remember, but they're doing more than just Lee Winnell stuff. But yeah, to your point, they're playing that one close to the vest because they know him.
Yeah.
They've got a relationship with him and his boy Juan with all those, with like fucking all the Conjuring movies, the Annabelle, the Nuns, the
Saw.
God, yeah, the Saw. Yeah, Universal's made like some decent decisions, some really bad ones. I think maybe we can talk a little bit how like COVID like really influenced everything. And one of the major decisions they made, I remember, was to dump all the movies they made that were supposed to go to theater on HBO Max, which is now just Max. And that was an interesting idea. And I remember like everybody was watching them because nobody could leave the house and they were easy to stream. And it seemed like every single one of those movies just were so bad. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because we were watching.
I don't
them at the
remember
house.
what got dumped. Yeah.
Well, yeah. What movies?
there was-
I'm having trouble thinking.
One of the Godzilla sequels, Godzilla vs Kong, maybe. The Mortal Kombat.
No, we saw that one at
movie.
the drive-in.
There
Mortal
was
Kombat. Okay, yeah.
The Conjuring.
I watched Godzilla
3.
vs Kong on streaming for sure.
Yeah.
Conjuring.
Conjuring 3.
The
Okay.
Devil Made Me. Yeah, Conjuring 3. Devil Made Me. Whatever.
Oh,
that's,
the Devil Made Me.
Yeah.
Devil Made Me Diddy. Yeah.
Devil
Okay.
made me fucking do whatever. It felt like they were all terrible, but they were all made before the pandemic, and they just sort of dropped them, which, I don't know, I guess on one hand, I was thankful to have something new to watch at the house, but like they all seemed not so good for whatever reason. But they're all like recognizable IP too, that they had clearly plowed
That's the thing.
millions and millions of dollars into each one of these. And hopefully they made some of it back, I guess, but
I feel
who
like
knows?
I'm sorry. Yeah. I just like, I don't know. Like that's such a fraught period. And like, it doesn't help that like HBO Max, Warner, just like all these like big mega clear monopolies that we just allowed to happen in this country. Like I especially Warner, like with David Zaslav and all that stuff, like what did I say? Warner? Anyway, like the thing about them is that like, there's a lot of thought that they're like, it's a way of skirting antitrust, and I don't know antitrust laws, and I don't know like the specifics of that anymore. Like it's escaped me, but I remember reading articles like talking about how like this consolidation of stuff, this dumping of stuff, this canceling of big projects, and just like complete erasure of movies, like. All these things were happening around the same time as the pandemic, and things were kind of being blamed on the pandemic. I feel like it's like big business scheming at the heart of all those decisions, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. Like, I don't think it was by the nature of goodwill that they dropped the next Conjuring movie the way that they did. I think that they wanted, they knew people were captive audiences in the most literal sense. And so they put out their what maybe they saw as trash, but I don't think they're even smart enough to know it was trash. I think they saw it as safe bets because they were IP, and people love IP. So I don't know, and they still operate that way. They still release trash all the time. Like I don't know. So, and they drop it on Max or whatever, but like I feel like it's all like part of the same shit cocktail, and I can't really figure out what the purpose of that cocktail is. Like it seems like success at the box office isn't on the table. So what are they aiming at? Because like maybe they're just like taking pot shots at glory, but it seems like it just seems completely ill-advised in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That except for maybe some like conniving business ways. Maybe I'm just predisposed to distrust the mega conglomerate. I don't know. That might just be me.
It's also the turn too. I mean, it's unfortunate because it seems like, you got to give a lot of respect to Blumhouse, and I'll go down their list in like just a moment, but it definitely seems like that's the way they're turning it. And we kind of mentioned it before too, Universal tried to do this thing where we're going to make this universe. And then Blumhouse's like big deal these days too is like kind of milking these franchises. And we've talked a lot about, this isn't necessarily new to horror. You had, Friday the 13th Part 6 long before there were these, bigger studios pumping these things out. But I mean, the biggest thing I respect to in some of the best horror films is, we got to talk about A24 because I mean, they're really in my mind like top tier. They're the most respectable at what they're doing right now. And they haven't been doing it, I guess, as long. But I mean, none of these, except for one, but it's in a different situation, has anything to do with any kind of franchise or thing. But I mean, just going down there top from the past 10 years of A24 horror films, talk to me. Okay. This is the only, I think, exception. X and Pearl. Okay, but they were all filmed together or like, under a tight, whatever. They were all kind of planned together.
Pandemic situation led to a sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, so X and Pearl, Saint Maud, In Fabric, The Witch, The Lighthouse, Hereditary, Green Room, Bodies, 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 I Saw the TV Glow, Midsummer, Killing of a Sacred Deer, Maxine, there it wraps that up. Blackcoat's Daughter, Enemy, Men, Climax, Beau's Afraid, Tusk. So like not like all our bangers, but all separate original pieces. Yeah. Nothing's going back and revisiting them. Nothing is tie into something that came out 30 years ago. Nothing is like the part 8 of something and going on and on and on. It's like, they might not all be bangers, but like, yeah, I don't necessarily love Tusk, but I love that it's original. I love that it's not fucking part 8 of something, which is what Blumhouse is like really leaning into and could be part of the potential like downfall or what. But it is the whole like Disneyfication Marvel of business model and stuff, and it's just a shame to see all that kind of like take hold.
They're leaning into definitely like franchises that they have not exclusively built, but a lot of them they have. Halloween definitely an exception to that. But also outside of that, it seems like the more original stuff they're doing is aimed at a younger audience, which is not going to captivate us. But like gateway type horror movies that feel just unoriginal when we watch them, because we've been watching horror movies for a long time.
Yeah.
But I could see them working for, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids or something like that.
That's true.
Your Megans.
Yeah. Your Night Swims. Yeah. Your Imaginaries. That Five Nights at Freddy's movie made so much fucking
that's
money.
IP to the core.
That is IP, yeah.
That's to the core.
That's true.
Yeah. That was an oversaturated thing as it was. But like, I don't know. I do think that there's something going on where like you can kind of have both. It's disappointing when these groups, these studios that made such a killing doing what we would see as original properties, even stuff that's like not just stuff that comes from one person's, or not one person, but like comes from a singular filter, as opposed to just, being like, okay, how do we make this IP work? Just non-IP stuff, basically. They had such success doing that, like just taking small risks and taking small, like occasional big rewards, that now they're kind of like trying to do both. And I feel like it's a pivot away based on like old business sense that wasn't working before, but they're still doing it. Like, I don't know. I think the big kind of like collapse of Marvel in terms of how much they are, it's just Marvel's just like the biggest thing in movies, So to see its status drop and not most of its stuff not be must-see films anymore or whatever, I think that it's weird that it's like they're trying to find that next thing, and they're doing it in spots that were not built for that. Doing that with IPs that were not necessarily intended for that, or otherwise just like trying to falsely extend things and all that stuff. Like going back to the old model of sequelitis and doing, 20 James Bond sequels and doing like whatever and hoping for the best each time with maybe diminishing returns until a unique vision comes along. They're rolling the dice in the same game over and over and over again instead of in different games. And it's like they're taking slightly smaller risks, but not that small because they're also betting big on the next two after this one they're releasing still, because they're still stuck on how Marvel succeeded. They're still trying to incubate the next Marvel. So it's all this like weird risk-taking mathematics that I don't understand, and it just doesn't seem like it's even getting them what they want. People still aren't going to theaters. They're still not interested in IPs the way they were with Marvel, and we're not seeing a clear successor to that. I think horror as a genre kind of is the successor to that, but it's not. Yeah. It's not yielding the same results because horror is like, I don't know, it's not as mass appealing. Although it's a growth industry right now.
I think it is
a safe bet.
Okay.
For the most part, I think horror always
safe,
has been a
not
safe
like,
bet. You
safe,
make,
but not like huge profits,
well,
not like
you're not
giant
making
splashiness.
$1 billion generally, but you're making
They're not getting that success. That's what they want. They want to bet big on black and get, get exactly what they put in times a million.
yeah. I mean, maybe you should just make 5 movies instead of 1 and make at least half of them good, take more shots and, I don't know that that's really going to change necessarily. It doesn't seem like it's going to change anytime soon.
I don't know why it would.
But to be fair, yeah, well, to be fair though too, and some of these are removed by several years now, but so I think it's definitely easier to dunk on Blumhouse, especially like I said, I respect A24 a whole lot, and they've got the better movies in my opinion. But Blumhouse, to their credit, has given us some really great stuff over the past 10 years. So I'll just go through like some of the top tier Blumhouse from the past 10 years. You got your Get Out, Mithrigan, which, a lot of people love. I'm not crazy about, but it's there. Hush, Invisible Man. Thank you for that. Nanny. I like that pretty good. Totally Killer. That was fine. Speak No Evil. Soft and Quiet. By the way, that was one.
Fucked up movie.
Freaky, which I actually don't think I saw, but
it's funny.
Origins of Evil, Black Phone, Bob's, one of Bob's top.
The big black phone of time.
Big black phone of time.
Or whatever.
Halloween 2018, which some people love. Split. Which good on Split. The Creep 1 and Creep Deuce. I like those. The Happy Death Days. Those were, kind of original, and to have some comedies and stuff. The Visit, so they're really propping up old Shyamalan. So I mean they've given us some good stuff,
the Purge movies.
They did the Purges,
Paranormal Activities.
Some Paranormal Activities, which I was trying to stick with 10 years, but so some of those are swinging a little outside 10 years, but I mean they did Lords of Salem, which again outside 10 years, but propping up Rob Zombie a little bit, names in horror,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they did give us some stuff.
Some good shit.
I mean, I think that there's like the thing is like there's always some pearls to be found, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I think that's there's like in every era, in every studio, I don't know of any studio that released only bangers for forever. Like that's never happened.
Yeah.
They all have their flops and their fair share of them, but it's about the ethos of how they like to spend their money. And like if they spend their money on small bets, we get more original movies because they're less inclined to see the sunk cost fallacy of, well, we can't have a movie without a South Asian Pacific character because we have to appeal to that market. I mean, shit like that. Like,
gotta appeal to the Koreans.
You gotta appeal to different markets. And so it has to be like homogenized to a global scale. Because there's so much money tied up in it that they can't afford to fail, and then it fails anyway, or they take it out completely and write it off on their taxes. Like it's very business minded, and this is an art. You know what I mean? So like one of my favorite things that we've done in recent years as a collective here is embrace the festival circuit in a way that we haven't. It's grueling sometimes because we want to cram in as much as we can, but man, we've gotten some like really amazing access to movies that just haven't gotten a lot of like notice outside, and some that have just blown the fuck up. Red Rooms is a tiny movie that just had a little bit of a run in the theaters. It's fucking great. It's very dark, and please watch it. But also, you have things like Talk to Me, which was like gonna be a hit, like immediate on first blush, you knew it, like, you know what I mean? And then I don't know, there's just all these different like things that you get at a festival that feel like people trying to make good art, not good commerce. And you know, art versus commerce, my favorite subject. You know,
it always comes back to it, man. I think
it always does.
I was listening to an interview with Damien Leone, the creator of the Terrifier series and all, and like after Terrifier 2 made so much money, and you know the first two movies were like totally self-funded. He started getting all these interviews with like major studios and stuff, and they were wanting to like be in business with him, and they're like, well, what if we just like totally reboot the Terrifier franchise, because like we can't release a Terrifier sequel for the first one. Let's go just call it Terrifier, and we got to make it more appealing to a broader audience. So we got to like scale back some of these gore scenes, like, kind of clean it up a little bit. And he was like, no, because that's not what it is.
That doesn't even make a lick of sense.
So they would, yeah, they are trying to
let's
distill
reboot it
in a way that makes it palatable for everybody. And like, yeah, it's already got a following. Like people would be like, what? You were following a story,
the following
and
you have gets
it
cut off
halfway
you
through.
know?
Yeah. Either they're doing like, why would you? There's already a following. Just it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't, and it takes somebody with the guts to do that, like a Damien Leone. Like I give him all the credit in the world for that, because that's prioritizing the art over the money. You know, making the money coming like. It is a means to an end for survival and continuing creation for somebody like who is a true like like uncorrupted creative. And I don't believe that there's any of those truly out in the world, but there are people that come closer than others, and that's definitely a move of somebody who values the art first. We need more of that, and we need more of that on the upper echelons. We need more like Monkey's Paw Productions, like Jordan Peele's thing. He funds a few things that are like pretty great. Elijah Wood's Spectre Vision, like he's funding things that are unique and interesting to him. He doesn't need the money, and he wants new creative shit to watch. I have like faith in these people as money men for the other creatives. I want more of that. Like I just want more
stuff
of that
would never exist without these people. It just would nobody would ever put money at it. Yeah,
you know, you talk about Damien Leone and Terrifier 3, and it's like you get. When they do reboot things, like you see this a lot with foreign films where they like redo it with an American cast, the funny games of it all, or more recently that Speak No Evil is apparently a remake. I had no idea that was a remake of a foreign film.
Oh, really?
But apparently it was. And like, yeah.
I thought we all covered it like 2 years ago.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I guess we did.
Maybe I've got the wrong title. This is the new McAvoy movie.
Yeah, that's the right. That's the right title.
It would came out like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's
it's not old at all.
I forget what country it's from, to be honest with you.
Norway.
I guess maybe I never saw it, so it didn't stick for
It's
me.
Norway or Sweden.
It's
one of those.
extremely bleak. You would remember it if you saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It came out the same year, I'm pretty sure, as Soft and Quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sounds
Yeah.
right.
No, I had no idea, or I didn't remember that because I have a terrible memory. So maybe it's just that. But like, to whatever extent like that had a following or whatever, it didn't matter, and they just rolled the dice on a new one. And I'm sure McAvoy's great in that. He's a great actor, and the trailer makes it look a very promising case for that movie not being hot garbage. But at the same time, like that does not need to happen. Let McAvoy play a similar character in another movie that's tailor-made to another point of view. Like, you don't have to do it this way. Well, I don't know.
You don't have to do it this way.
Do it a different way.
Speaking of, you don't have to do it.
Doc, scientist.
I definitely think my least favorite trend, and I think we probably all would agree, is the go backs and revisits the legacy sequels of it all. Because I was kind of go through some of the ones that like really kind of took off over the past 10 years, specifically within horror. So you got your Exorcist believers. Oh my lord. You got your Halloweens of it all, which is mixed bag, mostly not great. Texas Chainsaw had a little bit of a comeback with their movie, which wasn't really good. Obviously Ghostbusters.
I watched that Frozen Empire on a plane, or most of it. Ideal viewing experience because I had nothing else to watch.
Awful.
And I was like, oh, okay. Well,
I wouldn't even.
This is definitely the proper venue for this film. It gives it all the pomp and circumstance it deserves. Anyway.
Yeah. Scream came back. One of the better ones, to be fair.
I agree.
No. Well, okay. So actually,
it came back twice.
Scream, but also the one actually I was going to mention, Candyman.
Oh yeah. That is totally worth watching.
But that is a good example of a movie that is using old stock with a fresh, updated point of view. And it's true to the original because the original had a point of view of its own about the same topics. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just bringing something new. And that's why the Scream Revisitums works as well, is because they're bringing new thinking based on modern thinking about the topic at hand, not just pulling out the old hits the way that I would argue Beetlejuice does. And to a lesser extent than others, but just as a recent example. I don't know. There's a lot of movies that do that, and that's the worst, is when it's just trotting out the hits, putting a corpse on a marionette string and playing them along instead of just...
You know what? I really wonder what old Edward Scissorhands is up to these days.
We should
I really want to know.
I really got to find out, what was that weird lady who was sessually attracted to him? What's her backstory? We got to know.
Get to see her as a teenager. That's what we need.
We got to have a Nurse Ratched-esque mini-series about it.
And I bet that wasn't the first time she ever, met Edward. There was some other situation in which they just both didn't remember that they had interacted before.
Awful.
And there's another story.
Bet.
And Johnny Depp is going to go under the makeup and he's going to look just as young as he did.
No. He's going to be replaced by Timothy Chalamet, of course. We're not fools.
I see.
We got to make a little money at the Fox.
I don't think Johnny... Is Johnny still working after his whole lawsuit with his abusive...
He probably is.
Marriage?
I don't know. I don't want to
honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Doing a whole lot, which is fine. He's probably lost his fastball.
That is fine. I want to agree with that wholeheartedly. Also, I'm definitely not interested in finding out what his character from Nightmare on Elm Street is doing either. I don't want to know what these characters are up to and they're previous to them.
Dies.
Times.
Spoiler.
I mean,
whoa,
spoiler.
Prequel. When he was like 8 years old.
Yeah. He must. Maybe his brother was one of the victims of fucking Freddy, and he just blocked it out.
We got to de-age Johnny. Today's Johnny to make
de-age
look
Johnny
8 years
is
old.
Timothy Chalamet. I want to be clear on that.
Yeah, that's
He doesn't look 8 though. That's.
I mean, are you sure? Are you sure about that?
To touch a little bit more on like how COVID kind of changed the game, like we talked a little bit about like production companies having to like shelve a lot of movies because theaters weren't a thing anymore. A lot of theaters closed down, small and big. Finally, when people started going back to the theater, it seems like they're trying to like pivot a little bit, and like more recently, this year anyways, or the past couple, since 5 Cream really, these popcorn buckets and like all these like gizmos and gadgets and like blankets and cups and just shit. They're just selling like shit that you would find at like a Spencer's or something at the movie theater now. At least like the major chains, they're just trying to drum up like these other streams of revenue, which is interesting. I read an article last week too saying theaters were going to start investing in like putting in pickleball courts and like
I heard about that.
arcades and just like just other things to do, I guess, because
they're making them fun centers because people aren't interested enough in just movies anymore, and the popcorn buckets and the arcades has convinced enough people to go. They're like, well, let's fucking try this. I don't know.
People love
just
pickleball.
panicked, cocaine smeared motherfuckers in a boardroom somewhere.
Pickleball and a movie
itself is a fad. They cannot prevent themselves from going after any fad. They're going to have a Hawk Tuah station at every theater where you can just spit on a fake dick, and that's going to be how they make money now, apparently. I'm sure that's coming.
Well, now you have my attention.
I think you got a future, son. You got some ideas.
In business.
We's a little juice.
Well, no, that's the thing too. I know, with the whole COVID and even for like 2 years, we were, as part of the recommendations, even we're like, oh, do you want to risk going to the theater to see this? And really, like one of the big, I'm very, very conflicted too, because it's one of the big shifts of like going to Korea and the experience of it being so different. I've never had a bad theater going experience in Korea, but just because of the cultures, like nobody gives, even like in movies, you know, some people, we've even talked about this before, where people like cheer or you know, get excited when something crazy happens. Like nobody reacts to shit here, which is for the most part wonderful, because everyone just sits in their fucking seats and shuts the fuck up. But it's also different
They just
too.
quietly have their husband bulge.
Here you can like bring stuff into the theater without it being like a problem. You know, people bring beers in, people bring you know, certain like their favorite snacks or whatever, but the snacks here are also like very cheap. And when you go back to think about the kind of theater of like where it came from, and we have this nostalgic thoughts about it, it is definitely, you think about for teenagers going on first dates. You know, being able to have like a part-time job or an allowance from your parents, and being able to go take your girlfriend to the theater and buy some popcorn and buy some snacks, and that being like you know, a couple's hangout, or a place where you have a tiny screen at home and you get to go see something on a large screen, and it's exciting, and you know, and it's a Friday night, it's a thing. But now, dude, fucking going to the theater in the States, it's like one ticket is so fucking expensive, and the snacks are garbage, but they're so fucking expensive. And it's a roll of the dice of, is it going to be a shit experience or not? And if you want a premium, if you want to guarantee that we're going to regulate no talking and stuff, you go to Alma and you pay more. And it's like, and it becomes so expensive to just go watch a movie in a somewhat enjoyable setting. It's like, damn,
it's true.
Like,
it's like
something has to change about that shit.
You pay more, and I don't know, man. I think part of that is going back to COVID, a COVID thing to some extent, at least with Americans. Like, we're so fucking individualistic, and we got so used to sitting on our fat asses, farting up a storm, and looking at our solitaire, or looking at fucking Tiger King on our phone while we're watching fucking Godzilla versus Kong on the screen, that we don't know how to do it any different. And now people are jacking off in the middle of fucking movies and shit. What was that movie?
Love Lies Bleeding.
Love Lies Bleeding, where the guy famously had like fell asleep jacking it in the theater.
Station set up. He was
like, what the fuck? Like, this is not your home, people. And that's the problem, is people really see it that way. And you're right. You pay a premium to go to places where people are like, where there is any repercussions for that. If you go anywhere where it's not repercussions for that, you run a risk. And that's, you're still paying premium prices for that.
Yeah,
it's just that
there is no
prices,
non-premium prices.
Yeah, exactly. That's very true.
We can still get a $10 movie ticket here. Usually you can't, it's not like a 10 p.m. Friday night showing. We go old people hours, like 5 or 6 or even earlier, you know. But the snacks are mediocre and outrageously expensive. And yeah, it is a roll of the dice if people are going to like be respectful or not. Mm-hmm. I will say, watching The Substance this past weekend, the theater was packed. And everybody was like kind of buzzing, like not like speaking out loud, but you could feel like the energy in the theater because it's such a weird movie. Mm-hmm. And then the climax hit, and these two middle-aged dudes walked out like kind of grumbling to themselves, like, "Oh my god, I can't! Oh my god!" And it just like made me laugh so hard. And it was one of those theater experiences that was like just perfect. And I love when things like that happen, but it is definitely not a guarantee for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real problem the way people treat things. Like, and you know, there's always been some element. We used to work at a theater. I remember kicking kids out or having kids kicked out for like just going in there and being as fucking loud as they possibly can. Like, and that's a risk they run, and they just kind of learn that lesson and then do it a little different next time. Basically, they still do it, but I don't know. I think that there's always been an element of that in America. Like, I don't know about other countries, but in America, there's always been people like, I remember watching Oh Brother, Where Art Thou in theaters. That's how far back this goes. I remember being in there with like 4 other people and one loud ass motherfucker and this is a spoiler alert, at the point where Everett McGill reveals that there's no treasure and he's just leading him on a goose chase to get back to his wife. He's like, "Well, I got something to tell you," and the guy goes, "There's no treasure," and he just yells that to the whole theater's benefit. He's there by himself and yelling to the theater. So there's always this element of people, but now it's like everybody. It's not just the dude who couldn't get anybody to go to a theater with him because he has no friends. It's now everybody, because we all spent months of our lives, years, doing that exact thing at home.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
One little trend that's fun here in Korea, which I would like, I wish like, so we had these little stores pop up, and they're pretty small, but they're just theater concession stores, and you go in and you can buy a bag of popcorn for $4. It's like concession. They have all the concession foods. It's like a little theater concession store. And then it's most of them, not all of them, have this little, it's just like a hallway. It's a tiny little store. But then at the end, they have this fake little theater that's got about like 6 to 8 seats in it. That's got a curtain that you can pull for the store, and you can rent it out.
Jacket?
Oh, yes. But you could rent it out and bring your own device, or it's hooked to a device, and they have got a screen in there, and you rent it like by like a 2-hour window or whatever. And you can have your friends go over there and watch a movie. And I think like for a 2-hour period, it's like $25 or something. So if you got like 6 friends to come and you all want to watch a movie on a big screen and have some like cheap popcorn snacks or whatever, like you can do that. Like that's so fun.
That's
like
awesome.
that's so
So it's like a karaoke private room sort of situation.
Kind
almost.
of, yeah, but for but also most of the time, I mean, I've never actually rented the room, but we'll just like pop in there on a movie night for ourselves and like get the snacks, like I said, for like $10 you could get some nachos and popcorn. Like a bag of popcorn just walk out is like $4 or $5 depending on what size you get. So it's like, I love it. It's just like
that is kind of fun,
a little cool thing for movies. Anyways,
like that business, I'm not smart enough to figure out where the business is going or any of that sort of thing. It just seems like it's clear that what's not working right now isn't going to continue not working, and what's they're doing to fix it is just throwing more of the same at the wall.
They're not worried about making a bunch of really good movies. It doesn't seem like that's of interest. They want to make
making it affordable to people,
or that. Yeah. They want to make like as many extremely high budget movies as they can that are also very recognizable to get as many people to go see them when they come out as possible. And the theaters are trying to hold on as best they can by creating all these like high price snacks and all these goofy popcorn buckets and stuff. Cause like Marvel and Disney, I know they have they make theaters sign some sort of contract where you have to show their movies for at least 2 weeks, even if nobody's coming to watch them. And you got to give them like 60% of your tickets sales, your box office receipts or something, like some incredibly high amount. And it's just, for a mega theater, maybe it's a little easier to get by, but for smaller theaters, it's just not, man. It doesn't seem
really
sustainable.
Great. I'm sorry
at all.
It would be really great if they stopped. If they made more small films and just like if theaters revolted basically and just like we're only taking small films, we're not taking Marvel, like theater owners. But the problem with that is I don't remember what the law is or whatever, but something happened recently to where like I think somebody bought Alamo Drafthouse, didn't they? Like
Sony
who was it?
or something.
Sony did. That's right. And they just let that happen, even though that's an antitrust violation, because now studios owning theaters means they get to dictate that none of their competitors get to be in there. None of all their tentpole stuff. If they want their fucking Marvel movie running for 8 weeks, even if no one's seeing it, they can, and they can guarantee that they'll get like a little bit of return for it because if people want to see a movie, they got to see that movie.
That's
if
interesting.
They keep going down this path.
There's
there's going to be less options.
I think the law was passed like back in the 1920s to where production companies could not own theaters. And that just expired. And now, I don't know where that's going to go. Maybe that'll be a good thing. You can show, until it gets too big. And then,
well, it's already
strong
big if Sony's involved.
I don't know. It seems
that's a foreign company
fucked.
that's like just. Like, imagine only being able to see the new Venom movie and not getting to see fucking the substance at all. Like, that's what you're facing.
Potentially, or strong arming the little guy into giving you like an insane upfront amount of money, like just to get your fucking movie in theater before they even show it to anybody, and then you're like in a bigger hole and. Yeah, I could.
But theaters are so desperate right now that they have to rely on those tentpole things, and the studios know that, so they essentially have an owning stake in these theaters, even if it's not on the books. You know what I mean? So there needs to be some sort of I don't know. This is me spitballing based on what little I understand. There needs to be some sort of like further antitrust law, not less, more, in order to prevent that sort of thing from inhibiting like theaters from being able to show the things that they want, that people actually want to see, or that things that people like, you know, can take a risk on, that makes people more interested in going and rolling the dice themselves and spending less money. They're making theaters raise their prices and making it less interesting to people because of that, by forcing these people to use these movies that need a return of investment and have fewer people going, so they just have to charge more because the studio has to make their money back. Like they're over a barrel because the studio's over a barrel, and they're putting themselves over that barrel. So just stop doing that, and also put laws in place that prevent theaters from having to be beholden to that. I don't know. That's my pitch,
boys. I think we made good on our promise to succinctly wrap up an entire decade of horror. I think we really nailed it, if I'm being honest. Yeah. We could go on and on and on with that discussion, I'm sure. But I think we did a decent job, a respectable job within an hour's time. We do have a few other things we wanted to get to, though, on this back half of episode 500. Something that we've been doing ever since episode 100. Every 100 shows, we do a supercut. And we just take little clips from the previous 100 episodes and stitch them together. And it seems like each 100 shows, it just gets longer and longer. This one is looking at about 80 minutes or so, which is just way too much to include here. So,
God, we are verbose motherfuckers.
Yeah, we are. So that full 80-minute supercut is gonna be available on Patreon whenever this episode drops. So if you're listening to this right now, you can go listen to the full supercut over on Patreon right now if you would like to. And just to give you guys a taste of what that is, we've got like a 3 or 4 minute clip here that we're gonna listen to. Randy, you got that?
I got it. Let's cue it up. Here we go.
Oh, Cooter's a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Thank you to Gimp Brisket for their #1 hit single, the Cooter intro song.
Hunting for Cooters, parentheses, Cooter intro song.
Cooter.
Forcing people to get married and tell them to wear a cock ring as to fuck their daughter or whatever.
For then?
Pud collar.
Pud collar.
Let's start a band called Pud Collar.
Let's not.
Holy shit.
Like nothing I'd ever smelled before in my life.
Let's not.
We are Pud Collar.
No, we're not.
We play impotent rock for impotent men.
Pud rock is what
so yeah, he goes in the pokey for sure. You got Bob. Yeah, Bob.
So plump, so right.
Oh shit!
Gimp Brisket, the new hit Pud rock band.
If that's what makes your
some
dick
people
hard.
pay a lot of money for that kind of stuff. Apparently,
some people get it for free.
Shut the fuck up.
What is your relationship to anime? That's how it's pronounced, right? Anime. Tell me about your favorite anime.
Tell me about your favorite manga.
Manga.
Who is your waifu?
Wow.
My waifu. There you go. Got it. Nailed it.
Once I pooped in my pants in school, and I just left it in all day.
You just leave it all day.
Tell us about your gonna notice.
Pooping.
It's what you do. It's the
just
only
hide
move.
it.
It's the only.
The harder you sit in it, the less.
All you got to do is just be like, "Hey, what smells like shit? Who did that?
Who pooped in their pants?
Who pooped in my pants? Oh my god, there's poop. Who pooped? Who put this here?
Who smeared shit on the inside of my pants?
On the inside of my pants and ass crack, somebody has smeared their own shit.
Who did this to me?
Somebody is out to get me.
People
I'm not gonna be
always
able to close
reaching
out
their
the show if we keep making
hand
shit jokes.
into my shorts and
If we keep
smearing
making shit jokes,
shit
this
all
episode
over
will
my
not
body.
end.
I'm trying to keep it going.
I know it, man. I know it, man.
Oh god, I'm crying. Colin with your shit in your pants stories and make me lose
Don't
my
do
damn
that.
mind. Dude, I want to
do
hear
that.
the story.
I know you do.
Bob wants to hear the stories.
I want to hear the stories. I want to hear them.
Grow up,
I got to hear them shit stories.
Oh fuck.
If we start, dude, the shitcast has to become a reality because we just it should be us talking about shit and just Bob laughing the whole time in the background. He will not be capable of intervening at all.
Oh, a little bit. I want to hear them.
I'm so excited!
Bob, you left off portrait or Henry serial portrait killer.
Henry serial portrait
title.
Henry serial portrait killer. I kill portraits. This is a guy who sneaks into fucking museums and fucking carves up.
Fuck this shit.
Man, PETA's getting desperate. They're really just doing anything they can. So that's just a little taster of the Supercut. Like I said, that's over on Patreon right now if you guys want to hear the whole thing. It's ridiculous, as I'm sure you can tell. Yeah.
That was a good one. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear the rest of that clip.
Making those things takes so much time, and each couple years I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to do it. Maybe I won't do it this year, and then I do it, and when I'm done, I'm like, oh, thank God I did that. Because it's just like so fun to listen back to. Hopefully it's fun for everybody and not just us, but it's
nice to have because sometimes like I'll be listening to the episodes too, and I'll try to when I get into like a situation where I'm laughing to myself, I'll try to screen capture or send it to Bob. Oh man, dude, 80 minutes worth, and then that's just one of how this would be the fifth super. We've done it for every 100, right?
Yeah, every 100 shows we'll do it. Yeah,
oh man,
so this is number
that's
5.
Gold.
I was thinking about maybe trying to stitch all of them together, and you have like one mega super cut. It'd be like 4 hours or some shit, and it would be wild.
Yeah, that's just episode 600. We're actually not recording an episode.
I just got back.
Randy was muted for a bit.
Hey, Randy.
Yeah, there you go. Look into the future.
Yeah, so check that out over on Patreon if you'd like to. We did ask you guys to send in a bunch of just a shitload of voicemails and emails for episode 500, and a lot of you did oblige. So we're gonna hear from you. First up, actually, we're gonna hear from the mysterious, the sexual, the Caesar. Oh shit! Ooh. Here we go.
Yeah, you've reached DJ Elzebub. Leave your message if you dare. Yeah. Hey guys, it's Cesar, the old bish. Just calling to see if we were still meeting at Shoney's. Anyway, I'll see you guys there. All right, bye. Hey guys, Cesar again. I forgot it wasn't supposed to be Shoney's. It's actually Sonny's Barbecue. All right, sorry. Bye. Hey, what's up? I'm at Sonny's. I reserved us a table, and you guys aren't here yet. I told them I'd wait, so I just put an order in, just an appetizers real quick. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. Hey guys, just trying to figure out why you don't like Sonny's Barbecue. Message received. Sorry. Yeah, give me a call. Be good to hear from you. Hey guys, just trying to see what's up. Did I do something wrong? I hope I didn't say anything, or you know what? Just give me a call. I'd really like to talk about it because this is it's really, I don't know. I'm worried. It's making me lose sleep. All right, hit me up. Holla at your boy. Bye. Hey, look, I just wanted to say I dropped off some cookies by your house. You know, If you weren't going to eat the cookies, you could have thrown them away. You didn't have to leave them out on the porch for the fucking birds to eat them.
You know, I go out of my way for you guys. Oh, how about another promo, Cesar? How about another bump, Cesar? Well, you guys better start appreciating me a little more, Mr. Men. I don't have all the cock-a-doodie time to do this stuff for ya. Bye.
My ghoulish gentlemen, my misters of the macabre, my cooters in Christ, 500 episodes looks damn good on you. Seriously, suits you like a perfectly tailored coffin. Congratulations, and since every day is Halloween in your world, I'd say we're in good hands, because we're gonna need all the casts, boys. So here's to you, and to many more spine-chilling podcast episodes ahead. I'll be raising a glass of gin. Straight, of course, and chilled as the grave. Keep 'em screaming, fellas, and here's to another 500 episodes of terror. Your old pal, the old Bish.
Who was that again, Bob?
The old Bish. Cesar. Thanks, man. We really appreciate that.
Cesar.
It was like, that shit reminded me.
Right on the tip of my tongue.
It reminded me so hard of the Cable Guy when I first heard it. I was like, man, this is really nice.
He is Cable. He was doing a real Cable Guy slash, whatever her name is. Fucking Misery.
Oh,
yeah. Cock-a-doodie. Yeah.
Cock-a-doodie is one of the greatest curse words never used. I stand by it fully.
Good shit.
That was great.
Yeah.
Damn, that was fantastic. That was my first time hearing that. Thanks, old Bish.
Thank you, man. And wherever you are in the stars above, we salute you.
I'd never stand you up at a Sonny's. Promise you that.
Brought back some good memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Good stuff, man.
Randy, we got more, but I don't know what order you want to play them in, so I'm going to let you just pick them and
take the wheel, Randy.
Well, here's my new favorite song. It's by Ginger Root, and here we go. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go with our first. This is from our boy, our Cooter Hunter in Christ, as the old Bish likes to say. Hydraberg. Here we go.
Yo, straight chillin' crew. What's up, gang? 500 episodes, man. That shit's crazy. I feel like I've been listening to you guys forever. I just wanted to celebrate. This 500's huge, man. You guys put in the work. I just want to thank you guys for that. You've affected a lot of your fans' lives, man. Like, we're all different. Things have changed for a lot of us just from meeting you guys and listening. So we've made great friendships through that. And some of us have become podcasters as well. It's exciting to see, and it's exciting to see you guys still enthusiastic about getting together and doing the thing. We still feel the friendship between Soju and Andy and Bob, and when the guests come on, you guys just jive. You guys hang out with good people, and because of that, we've had those people on a cut above. Like, it's just a good family thing, you know what I mean? And you guys should be really proud of what you've done. I didn't write a reach around or anything this time, but I just wanted to tell you guys that I really do appreciate you guys doing your thing every week, and I really wish you guys all the success that comes in the future. I mean, I really don't want to see you guys stop doing this. It's just every week is just a pleasure to hear you guys talk. You guys are like friends and family now, so I appreciate you, and I hope to hear another 500 episodes. All right, keep it creepy.
You hear that when he said he likes to hear us be friends still? He mentioned Juice, then me. Bob came third.
I definitely.
This bargain bin friendship.
Sochu sounds like the most friendliest.
Most friendliest award goes to you. I'm running the middle myself. I like to ride.
I'm the friendliest. Okay, I am. You heard it.
I'm the power bottom of a friend.
Yes. Shouts out to Heidelberg. That's what's crazy about like 10 years. You're like, man, like these are some of the longest running relationships I've had.
It's crazy,
like,
right?
From this podcast.
Yeah.
And not excluding our own with each other. Like, we have some. Heidelberg's been his true blue to the core.
Yeah,
and a lot of our followers are, like ourselves, our most ardent listeners and followers are the ones that have been around forever and ever through the good and through the bad. So salute to that, man.
Yeah, like
also shouts outs too, because in less than a year, so this is how long we've been going, but in less than a year's time, so maybe about half a year, a little over, Heidelberg is going to be hitting his 200th episode with a cut above. That's nuts.
That is insane, man.
It's about time we announced our big rivalry with a cut above.
Hey, Fox.
Fuck you.
Dude, but that's so crazy because we have such distinct memories of our 200, but then I have distinct memories of them starting their podcast. So it's like, it's 200.
And their
episodes later.
100th episode, and like Heidelberg.
Well, yeah, we were in Seoul.
Show.
Yeah, that's when you guys came to Seoul because we recorded a promo or like a little message,
video.
not promo, a little message.
Oh,
for
yeah,
them,
that video was deeply sexual.
Really, dude, it was horny.
So drunk on soju. We're doing a little soju.
Yeah. Big old really horny. Thanks for calling in, Heidelberg.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, Heidelberg. Thanks for being so damn hard with us. One of the very few people who has a straight chillin' tattoo.
One of two that we know of.
Yeah.
Well,
and we might actually be able to hear from another one just now.
No,
what?
Our boy Matt from the Swords and Stereo podcast and from Our Friendships in Life also called in. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey guys, it's Bristol Matt. I was just calling to congratulate y'all on hitting 500 episodes and to thank y'all for everything y'all do, putting the Slack together, building up a great community. I've really gotten to know some people through the Slack, people I consider close friends now, even though I've never actually met them. And then, being the head of the spear and getting everything out of that community and like a cut above coming out of it and sitting in the slab, and light and shadow was a thing before, but I know they've came in there and really grown and been part of the community too. Not to mention the ways y'all have changed my life. I say yabos once a week. I quote Bigfoot Monster Mystery, even though I've only ever seen it once, all the time. And apparently I am really into space vampires, and that's on you. I hope you're proud of yourself. Anyway, again, congratulations, and I can't wait for the next 500. I'll be there at the celebration for the 1000th episode party. I'll talk to y'all guys later. Bye.
People keep saying episode 1000, like, man, another decade? We'll see. I don't know.
I feel that old already.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
We got to keep it going, boys.
Gotta keep it going.
Yeah, it's pretty great that despite only seeing, I think if our legacy is just that more people know about and quote Bigfoot Monster Mystery, I will go to my grave a happy man.
We did that. We definitely did that.
We have done the Lord's work there. I approve of that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you, Matt.
Matt's become known as the dude that sends people like birthday cards and like, Halloween cards. And, like, he has this amazing ability to like catalog specific dates and like snail mail really thoughtful things out, which is just really nice. Really, really
He's
thoughtful.
one of the more thoughtful people I've met in my life, and I'm very
Halloween cards, Christmas cards, birthday cards,
He's a sweet
it's
dude.
It's so funny because
Sometimes he peers in my window at night.
I didn't know Matt before, but now every time I come into Jacksonville, he's like one of the few like people that I get together with and hang out with, like on my trips back to. And it's like, oh yeah, I didn't really know you before. Like we didn't grow up together, like everybody else I visit, but I still really enjoy seeing him. So yeah.
He's a good
Thanks,
dude.
Matt.
He's one of our
Good
guys
dude.
for sure.
man.
We're one of our people, and we're happy to have him as well. Speaking of, as we were a few minutes ago, a cut above, we got a little bit of a message from the crew there as a whole,
right.
I believe. I haven't listened to this myself, so I'm assuming that. Let's hear what it has to say.
Fuck you guys.
Hello, fellas over at Straight Chillin'. It's your friends over at A Cut Above.
Hey guys.
Hello. I'm John, by the way.
I'm Heidelberg.
I think they know. Anyway,
Oh, what?
And this is Jacqueline, if you didn't know. But we wanted to call in and wish you guys congratulations on your 500th episode. That is mind-boggling to me. I truly cannot believe that you are at the 500 mark. That is really impressive, and you guys are completely an inspiration to us.
it's like these guys are all professionals. They're wonderful human beings. 500 episodes. However, I want to go a little deeper because it brought us all together, Jacqueline, Heidelberg, and myself, to create a cut above. And
Absolutely.
I want to say thank you, even though I went to hell for these guys back on episode 300. It was Nicole, Anthony, and I. We went to hell for these guys, but they've been given to hell for a long, long time. 10 plus years, 500 episodes. We love you guys.
Absolutely. I want to echo everything John said. And I don't know if you guys realize how important you and the podcast that you make are in the lives of your listeners. It's not just a podcast to a lot of us. For me, I found you guys very near the beginning of the pandemic, and the show and the Slack were a huge comfort to me and an outlet and a source of connection during a time when we were all really isolated, and it was a time when everybody was struggling. So it meant a lot to me that way, but it also allowed me to make friends with Heidelberg and John. And now not only do we have a podcast together, but we're close, lifelong friends now. And we wouldn't have had that without you guys. And, the ability to have a podcast that was kind of inspired by you guys feels like a creative need in my life and has become just a really important aspect of my life in general. So, none of that would have happened without you guys. And as for your show, you guys just keep getting better and better and better. I don't know how you keep doing it, but I mean, you guys are absolute pros. You're really impressive, really inspiring to us. And I'm proud to say that I have spent time with all of you guys in real life and hung out with you, and I'm proud to call you guys my friends.
Yeah, I echo everything you guys said. I called in at one point, so I don't want to say too much, take too much time. But yeah, you guys are changing lives with the content you do. The community you set up was one of the things you should be most proud of. The Slack community, it was a different. You did something different there, and you really nurtured it. You're there every day. You're in it. You know what I mean? You're not just like, hey, here's a place for you guys to talk. Like, no, you're there with us. You're friends, peers, collaborators. If you will, like that. There's a reason that people are creating podcasts in there, because there's a creative juice, there's a collaborative spirit, and it's just a fun place to be in. And you guys make it what it is. And every Wednesday when your show comes out, I look forward to hearing it and working with you. I want to have you all on here for one day, maybe for our 200th. So, and I wish you the best on 500. It's a
Same here.
Achievement.
But you motherfuckers better come on for our 200th episode.
Yeah, come on.
But again, I want to echo what Heidelberg said is that it is a community. We all love each other. Horror community is one of the best because it's all inclusive. We all love each other, and it's you guys. I think you inspired all three of us with that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I hope you have at least another 500 more episodes. In fact, I hope you guys never stop. So yeah. I look forward to you guys being like in your 80s, still going every week. I'll be
episode 20,000. We're going to be listening to. We're going to praise you.
Soju's just going to be a floating head.
Randy's going to have like some different name, like Rand. Or something. I don't know.
Who knows what it'll be by then?
I don't
know. But anyway, we love you guys. Congratulations again. That's a huge achievement, and you just keep inspiring us all. So bravo. Round of applause for y'all.
Straight chilling salute.
Indeed.
Cool. Slap me in the ass.
Well, since we didn't screen that, I'm glad it was positive and not a curse on our names.
Podcasting into our 80s kind of is a curse on our name.
I tell you ruined my life.
I see you toothless and shitting yourselves recording this podcast still.
I curse you.
Still yelling at Jason Blum. That motherfucker.
Halloween Ends was good.
Whoa, we really changed in that.
Oh, God.
What, 2 years until we get to 220,000? Yeah. Something like that.
You don't get it.
Thanks for calling, guys, and
thanks for calling. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, the horror community is a great, like, warm embrace of just thoughtful, lovely folks, and you guys, you just prove that.
A warm medium to loose
medium
embrace.
to loose embrace. There you go.
Way to ruin Justin. You ruined. Justin's using keywords to insert himself as the new sex master of his new sex cult around this podcast.
He's been doing it for a decade.
Yeah, I'm sorry. His growing,
old,
engorged sex cult.
God. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
I want to quickly say, COVID, thank you guys for being there for COVID as well, because that really helped me. I'm a broken man after COVID, man. I'm still watching reaction videos because I needed parasocial relationships. You guys prevented the worst version of that from happening, so thank you for that.
I'm well balanced.
Yes, clearly.
Whatever.
You and your sex cult aspirations are the most balanced thing I've heard of.
I'm a well-balanced, well-rounded individual.
Oh, yeah. Orgy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So
who's
coming
next?
up.
Yeah, there you go.
Coming up next, we have our first guest ever, and probably because of that, our longest-standing relationship that is due specifically to this podcast. This is Nicole from the Light and Shadow podcast. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hello, Street Chilling crew. Nicole from Light and Shadow here. Congratulating you guys on your 500th episode. I feel like we just did 300 and 400, but I guess time flies when you're chilling. It's kind of hard to know what to say at this point because I have gushed at length about how thankful I am for you guys' commitment and the community that you've created. And in this day and age, it really is amazing how you can form friendships with people that you never or almost never see face to face. But here we are. And actually, we did get to hang out in real life this year because you guys were kind enough to let me tag along for the Overlook Film Fest in New Orleans. And it was just such a blast to get to spend some time together at such a cool event. And it was also great to get to meet fellow friend of the show, Matt. And I have to say, I think one of my favorite moments from the whole year was eating po' boys on the sidewalk outside the Britannia Theater. I remember just looking around thinking, I'm here with my people in one of my favorite cities outside an old movie theater waiting to go in and see a horror movie that no one has seen yet. There's not really anything else that I could possibly ask for. It's what life is all about. And I think I have to apologize because I usually send you guys a whiskey at least once a year, usually for these special episodes. And I did not this year just because it's been a busy season and it kind of slipped my mind. However, we did get to share some of my birthday scotch at Overlook. And so we're going to say that counts this year. Of course, Justin, you were not there. We missed you very much. So next time I see you, I guess I owe you a scotch. So I think the only other thing I can say is just keep up the good work, boys. You guys are the glue that hold our little group together. And we are so thankful for it. We're so thankful for all the time and energy that you put into not only your show, but into the horror community. And until next time, stay spooky.
Man.
What are you talking about? I was there. I was right there with you guys. We had a blast out in New Orleans. Come on. We all slept in the same bed. It was cozy and comfy.
Well, I mean, you're just remembering another time, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sex cult.
We all drank a lot of whiskey and, we got the king size bed and we all shared it together. It was great.
Some of those things are true. Not all of them.
Aside from all the very, very sweet and heartfelt things that made me want to cry a little bit during all of these, the thing that stuck out to me in Nicole's statement was, I don't know what to say at this point. You guys have asked me to be nice to you so many fucking times on record.
All right, guys, get some new friends.
Stop asking me.
Jesus Christ. I'm tired of retrospecting on your bullshit. You and me both, Nicole.
God damn, has it been 2 years already? Fuck.
God damn, I gotta put in another
recording.
Oh, God.
Put in another recording for the fucking boys. It's my job now, I guess.
Grow up.
Hilarious because Nicole is the nicest human being on the planet.
That's true.
Yeah, eating po' boys on the street. Don't get much
Drinking whiskey, sharing beds. Nothing better.
Totally.
Po' boys, whiskey, beds. That's the That's the
I mean, that's
holy
just
trinity as far as
living
I'm
life.
Oh,
Really.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Good shit. Thanks for calling, Nicole. Hopefully we get to hang out in New Orleans with you once again. That'd be great. That'd be rad. Randy, we got some more, don't we?
We got one more recording here, and it's from our boy J-Baby from Waxing the Porpoise. Jim J-Baby. Here we go.
Hey friends, it's G-Baby. I just want to call in and congratulate you guys on your 500th episode. That's fucking insanity. You guys are champions, the three of you. Really love what you guys put out there in the world and the community that you foster, and just everything that you guys do is awesome. And I'm glad I stumbled along your show however many years ago it was. But keep doing what you're doing, and I hope we have many more moons of straight chilling. Love you guys. Stay back. You don't have to. All right, bye.
We love you, Jim.
We love you. We're saying it back.
We said
and
it
also,
We
God,
love you.
You were in the bed too.
We
I
collectively
love a succinct
love
king.
you.
God bless you.
Thanks, she baby. Hashtag
Yeah,
hard
man.
with us.
Waxing the Porpoise is definitely a great podcast as well. A Cut Above, Light and Shadow. I just want to make sure and call those out one more time because they have more than once done us a grace of being kind to us on record, and I do genuinely appreciate it.
Yeah, check out all those podcasts. All of them.
Yeah.
I think that's all the voicemails we got.
That's
we got
true, but that's not
couple
all the
emails.
messages.
Yeah.
Got a couple
Soji,
emails.
you got a couple queued up, don't you?
I do. I'm ready to go. Let me see who's first on this list. Shaboy Goku.
Goku. If that's your real name, buddy, God bless you. I'm sending you some senzu beans on me. That's amazing.
Kamehameha.
It says, "Hey, straight
Well
chilling
said.
crew." Yes. Congrats on reaching the 500th episode. It's a huge milestone, and as a longtime fan, I'm really proud of how much you guys have grown. The show has grown in quality, and you guys each have grown as hosts. I remember listening to your first couple of episodes, where everyone was calm and quiet, but now y'all are bouncing off the walls during each episode, and I love it. I can't wait for the next 500 episodes. P.S. Justin is my favorite host of all time. He is definitely the best.
Whoa.
Praise
Whoa.
Randy and stay
on
rigid
script,
with
please. Stay on script, please.
I don't know if that's accurate, but
That's not quite accurate. At least one of
that's
those.
how it looks to me. But yeah,
all right,
thanks.
you're in
Goku.
Westworld, I guess.
Thanks.
Thanks, Goku. We
Thank you.
appreciate that,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that like you see us as now being bouncing off the walls, because I remember those first episodes as being way chaotic and way hard to follow. So I'm very pleased.
This episode is, I guess, a bit of a return to form in that we try to get as many of the hosts back as possible, and it is chaotic as fuck.
Dude, yeah.
Enjoy
Yeah, it is
that.
chaotic.
I hope you did.
Enjoy.
Chaos.
Blast from the
we love-
past. Yeah.
We love all our co-hosts and all our friends and all that stuff, but man, a bunch of people in a room together trying to hold one conversation while drinking and like speaking naturally. It's harder than it sounds.
Digital room.
Yeah.
A digital room. Yes,
Oof.
especially that. Hey, was there one more?
There is. Yep. So it starts off like this. Hey, gentlemen. So, no, add that in there. First, I wanted to say congrats on 500 episodes. That is so insane. And that is just the full-length episodes, not counting the mini episodes and the countless other things y'all put out into the ether for us so lovingly to consume. Now, congrats aside, I have a very important question. Here we go. Bob said in the Slack, join the Slack in parentheses. Apologies to Jose after the Alien Romulus episode for, quote, having to watch mom and dad fight. So Soju, Bob, which one is mom and which one is dad? Everyone also sound off in the comments. Maybe make it a poll on your socials. Anyway, much love forever. The librarian, they, she, bye.
Oh, nice read on that.
Oh boy. Yeah, you nailed that one. Thanks, librarian, for asking
Also-
the tough questions.
The tough questions.
It's interesting how committed the librarian is to gender roles. I'm very surprised by that.
I thought it was a spectrum. Why can't we?
I
I'm
know.
living on a
Be
spectrum
both.
myself.
We're not a fork and spoon. We're chopsticks. Okay. Me and
wow.
me and Bob were
Metal
just two
chopsticks.
together
Together,
Korea specifically.
In a bowl of poke.
But we're eating cheeseburgers or something.
Cheeseburgers?
Or eating
Chopstick
cheeseburger with
cheeseburger, all right.
chopsticks. Oh yeah.
In paradise.
Seems inefficient, but all right.
With a margarita.
We are next.
I'm eating my margarita with chopsticks.
This is diversity gone wild.
Yes.
I don't know, Mom, Dad. What do you guys think? What
well,
cool
we
would you
all know
cast
Bob
yourself in?
has a daddy kink, so I mean, I think that
is
explains
true.
it
I mean,
all.
we have it on record.
I have a daddy kink.
Bob,
So,
do you have
I think
any
I think that answers your question right there.
any response to the charges?
It's on record.
Are you turned on by
I-
yourself or Justin? That's the question.
That is, yeah. How? In what way do I have the kink? That's
Bob's looking in the mirror wearing
Which
his
way?
jean shorts and his
Whoa.
beeper belt, and
His
he's like,
jean
"Ooh, look at this guy."
the
at
white
this
socks
guy.
pulled
Denim
up as high as
Dan.
possible.
Oh my god!
with
Yeah,
the-
he's got his fucking lawnmower in the background. You know,
in the background.
It's a
But I'm
rider.
looking in
It's
a
a
mirror,
rider.
but there's a lawnmower in the room. Where's
it's in the garage, Rob. Come on, you don't have to lie
in
like
the-
this.
All right, you got to check yourself out before you cut the grass. Make sure you're looking really nice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Soju's the
Can't put
maternal
yourself-
one, as we all know.
Oh yes.
He's very,
very a very
Oh, yeah.
nurturing person.
He
As
shows
we
a
all
lot of
know.
nipple. Is all I'm saying.
You're the one who's shown the most nipple on this show.
That's true. I'm probably the maternal
Well,
one. That's probably true.
you and now Ross is.
That's true.
Yeah. There's been some nipples on this show. What the fuck?
It's a very horny podcast, apparently.
Oh my god! it is
Apparently?
apparently, it's
Didn't we just
very-
have like a sex store ad to kick off this episode?
featuring many things previously mentioned?
Apparently.
Yeah, I think
News
that's
to
pretty well
me
established.
says.
Max likes her yabos. In fact, he loves them.
Can't imagine where people would get that idea from, but I guess I'll roll with it.
That's how they see us.
Thanks for the email, librarian. I don't think we really got down to the core of it, but maybe we did. I don't know. Read between
Maybe
the
the
lines.
listeners will. Maybe
think we
they're
answered
right.
your
that it's,
question.
As long as we're fucking, that's all that matters.
that is all that matters.
That's all the messages that we got.
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
You should be.
I'm not worried.
If you guys want to call in for next week, you can hit us up at 904-638-3231. But we do, before we sign off here, we've heard from every single host that's been on the show in some way so far, except for one. The Demon DJ
shit.
himself. DJ
We got the
Elzebub.
DJ?
We got him.
We got Boss DJ. All right.
We got him.
All right. Well, why don't we hear what he has to say? I got
Roll
this
tape.
recording right here that I knew about and pretended not to. Here we go.
Nice.
Greetings, esteemed colleagues, courtesans, and of course my lowly, sinful wretches. For close to a millennia, I have been minding the ones and twos for the condemned in our humble, viscera-coated corner of this hellscape that we call the podcasting department. It amazes me how far the podcasting program has come along in my tenure, spreading anxiety, civil unrest, and NFT bro behavior faster and more deeply than I ever dared dream. It started from assisting Piss Pants X-Files forum rejects to find a platform to discuss catgirl yabos and ethics in gaming journalism, to the infinite exploitation of missing and murdered persons through the true crime boom, to the historic Spotify Joe Rogan Experience deal. Every devilish move has built up a monument of wasted time, toxicity, and misplaced anger. What demon could ask for more? And yet, that's not even to mention my own pet project, the Straight Chilling Podcast. From the moment I oozed screaming from the inky blood kettle, covered in the entrails of murderers, tax cheats, and people who use their phones in movie theaters, I've dreamt of spawning such a project into existence for the torment of others. But that's not to say it's always been easy. I spent countless evenings unleashing eternal technical hurdles, providing Randy an endless supply of Red Stag and Malort, giving Soju leverage enough to tip the polls for stupid shit like Ghost, convincing Rob that yet one more copy of that trash fire Godzilla 98 was worth his legal tender, In all these small moves, I made a tapestry that I am proud to call my labor of love. So it's with a heavy, heavy heart made of calcified tumors and doom that I announce that I am retiring from the show and the department, effective immediately. I look around me and I see that through these dum-dums' idiot ramblings, I've managed to make the world just that much darker and more irritating. I've always said I wanted to go out on top, and the view from up here is splendid. My infernal shaft swells with pride when I think back on all I've accomplished with the help of my shrieking, clattering skeleton dance crew. What started as a simple passion project meant to keep these three idiots talking themselves to death has, against all odds, somehow amassed a league of cult-like followers. A small ecosystem of people listening and somehow enjoying three amateurs making an endless array of dick jokes. As bewildering as it is, I am touched deeply and erotically by this unanticipated and much appreciated groundswell of support. It has made even the harder days so worth it. With all sincerity, the children are the best acolytes a demon DJ could ever ask for. And so, I close with this. Thank you deeply for the years of support. And though I now leave you in the hands of these three dim-witted buffoons, I'll see all of you children on the warm side of the door one day. Until then, do as the man says, and please keep chilling. Oh, and P.S. Keep those ass slaps coming, people.
We will. Oh, we will.
God bless that young demon man.
Can we start a band called Infernal Shaft?
I think we already have.
I thought we were Gimp Brisket.
Gimp Brisket's retired. Infernal Shaft is the now.
We are Infernal Shaft. DJ Elzebub is hanging up his pitchfork. What do demons carry around?
C-string.
Tritons, I think they're called.
His blood red C-string is being hung up.
I'll take that. He's hanging it up.
Yeah.
He's gone from us, but he's in our hearts. He's in our hearts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
In our shorts.
In our shorts. In our infernal shorts all the time. Gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for episode 500, which is insane to say that.
That is truly insane. Episode 600, we're going on a fucking cruise and recording
the straight chilling
demon cruise.
A demon cruise.
A cruise
River
to hell.
Styx.
Come cruise
AKA the Bahamas.
Oh, okay.
If you guys have been listening to us for even 100 shows or even
say that quicker,
even 10 shows, whatever, thank you guys for hanging out with us.
But not less than 10.
Not less. If it's been less than 10, you
need to listen more if it's
dilly-dallying.
If it's less.
Then you can receive some praise.
I really had to draw.
We're not about foreplay here.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for listening. If you're part of the Slack crew, thanks for extracurricularly chilling with us. Slack crew's amazing. If you guys are listening and would like to join, just hit us up on socials and say so, and I'll send you a link so you can join in on the fun. That's going to do it for us. We got a new show coming out next week, as always, episode 501.
What are we talking about, Bob?
Well, we're talking about a little movie called The Grey. Another you pick.
Whoa.
Wow.
I'm sure it's about aliens, right? It's about the Greys and their the horrific takeover of Earth, right?
It's mostly about them putting stuff in our butts. And
okay, good.
It's a
Can't wait to hear us talk about that one.
That's right up our narrow alley.
Jesus Christ. This is another you pick chosen by Lou. Shouts outs to Lou. Thanks for picking this flick. Check out The Grey with your boy Liam Neeson's. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, we're on all the socials. You know where to find us. And you better keep chilling.
Straight chillin' will never die.